Yes. Yep.
Sweet. Time to post it. I think it's gonna move on me. Holy crap, someone already liked it. That's fast.
2 people liked it already. I don't know who it is. 3 people. See if we can get 3 likes. Nope. Yo, what's up? How's the fishing been? I did. Just give us a couple minutes to get everything set up. What's up, Dan?
Post. Which Dan?
Damn trainer. Oh, hey. I heard that song today. Actually, I watched a video of a song with that in it today.
Really random. You want to listen to last night?
I don't know. You haven't been fishing yet?
Wait, who said that?
Chris Peckham.
No, Chris. Why? That's so sad. But...
Old man tuned in. Good.
So, last night, going to sleep.
Yes, we have the same shirt on. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Because we look good, that's why. So last night, get in bed. And wife and dog are in bed, and I get in. Fat ass dog is blocking the entire bed. So I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm fine right here, living on the edge. So she's like, okay, good night. So I grabbed my phone. I was like on a sliver. So I grabbed my phone and pull up Aerosmith's Living on the Edge.
Jesus.
She just rolls over. She's like, really? Oh, that's fantastic. All right, who we got here? Miles. How you doing, buddy? Ooh, you going back out?
Going out tonight?
Get a giant.
Probably will, too.
Hey, Mark and Sam. Brian. How you doing, Ben? You're coming up here in like 2 weeks, correct? Yeah, because I'm going to Champlain next weekend, and then you're coming the weekend after, I believe, which would be great. I need to make sure this is close. I was like really quiet last week.
I may have been really high last week.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? On my input, can you go up 2 clicks, please? It's the top one.
On
That
the
side.
left.
2 clicks, there you go, thank you. Let me know if that's too loud. It was washed out, blown out, whatever. Por favor. There's a lot going on here. Code 2 dinks. I got a dink and a slime dart today, so you got -1. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's always the
That's
rule.
how it works.
Rule 1, no pickerel out on the boat. Rule 2, any pickerel caught counts as a -1 against your count for the day.
That one day 2 years ago, I think I was -15.
Yep. Remember we told Kyle that? We were joking around the first time we went ice fishing with him. He's like, well, I guess I'm at -20 for the day. He had 2 4.5-pound largemouth through the ice. And he's like, I guess today sucked.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Woods and weeds. You're going to Champlain tomorrow? Oh, yeah, lucky dog. I'll be there. I'm leaving very early next week, a week from today. We'll talk about that once the stream actually gets going, so we can kind of break down how we're going to do the stream next week, because he's unfortunately not going to be around. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, because I'm going to be up on Champlain. I think I'll have good cell service up there, but I haven't even gone down that road yet. So we'll cross that bridge as we get to it.
That's next week?
Yeah.
Already?
Yep. Hey, make that be quiet. How dare you? Before we really get started, let me know if audio is good between both microphones and music. Everything should be good. I didn't really change anything, although this time I increased the volume on my mic because I watched back the stream last week and apparently it was really quiet, so I apologize for that. Hey, Dylan. What do you got? Ben. Hey, buddy. And Richard. Nice to see everyone. Chris will be there on the 21st. Nice. He'll be the week after me. I'll be leaving very early Thursday morning next week and coming home probably very late Sunday night, unless it was a really bad weekend, in which case I'll come back early, but
I don't think it's going to be bad at all.
I don't think it's going to be bad
I think
at
you
all.
guys are going to absolutely destroy it.
I'm hopeful. So it should be good. There's actually a bunch of other people going up. David Krause, who is on the stream every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be there Saturday and Sunday, and he's staying like just north of where we are. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's coming with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually might go up and hang out with him Saturday night. Go over, shoot the breeze for a few. Actually get to meet him in person. Audio's fine. Good.
I did check out Wildfly, actually.
What was that one again?
I did like it. It's a fishing show on YouTube.
Oh,
fishing
yeah. All right.
It's pretty good.
Keeping it mellow with the vodka. No more beer for me. Cannot do it.
I had a beer
Jeff.
after work today.
Did you?
I needed it.
How'd you feel after that? Well, you'll feel it tomorrow morning, right?
Like a bag of dicks.
Look at us in our fancy.
It was
purple
cold and it
shirts.
tasted really good.
That's all that matters. I feel like. Can I do this from there? Yoink. Let's see what happens. Moderate improvement. That might be even more moderately improved. Good enough.
That's fine.
All right, trying to get it centered. Okay, let's get going. We're 6 minutes in. I always like to give about 5 minutes for people to show up, and then we roll into it. Kevin, doing the Marshall and the Lake Champlain. They're going to New York. Any suggestions where to stay? Unfortunately, no. I've actually never stayed up there prior to this. I can let you know where I'm staying. Message me on the side, please, Kevin, and I will leave it unread during the stream, so when I'm done, I can remember, and I'll send you a link to where we're staying. It's actually my buddy Dennis, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago. This is where he's stayed like all the time. I mean, it's definitely dated and rustic, but not like bad by any means, and the price is really, really good, and it's way up there, and actually, this is probably not a good spot for you. Maybe. Well, I'll let you know about it, and you can make the decision from there, but I guess there's a really good campground, like an RV park with cabins over on the New York side too, not that far from Ticonderoga. If it's not already booked up, I would look into that. For the life of me, I can't remember what it's called. Limit! Holy crap, buddy. How you been?
I don't know who that is.
He's one of my old gaming buddies.
Kind of
From
figured
the-
I'm calling you Snooze.
The Shoosty Bang days. When I was a big-time pro LMG gamer. MLG gamer. LMG.
LMG. MLG. MLG.
Kidding, I was garbage. All right. All right, let's go. So, tonight we're talking moving baits. It has been on the cusp, like kind of towing the line of that magical time of the year where you can like reliably and consistently go out and fish a dozen different kinds of moving baits. Smallmouth or largemouth, doesn't matter, they're going to start smashing them. Like when water temp starts to get like low to mid 50s for smallmouth, that's like game on. And you can start working things like even like a jerkbait wicked aggressively. Chatterbait bites actually been pretty good. A lot of these places I'm fishing around southern New Hampshire, it's been on the cusp. Like they're all towing the line of 55. I really want to see it like 1 or 2 degrees warmer than that, like consistently for the daytime low. And it's going to start going off for the spinnerbait, bigger swim baits. Like we're on it. It's happening.
I mean, the last time I went fishing, we were hammering them on chatterbaits.
Yep. And we were lucky because that was one of the last, actually one of the only, one of 2 times I've been out where we caught the conditions just right. Where it wasn't too cold, been a warming trend for a few days, wind is dead consistent, it kind of dirtied up an area and the fish were stacked up in there and it just worked. Water temp was right, like what, 55 that day or something like that?
50-ish.
No, 56.
It was like 58 in that
Only in that
spot,
back pocket.
and then it was 57 and then 56 at the top.
Yeah, so not bad.
No.
And then it dropped down to 52 the next day.
Yeah.
Actually colder, 51.
I actually went to the pizza place the other day. Kristen showed up randomly, which she should have said hi. Hello.
Hey, Kristen.
And friends.
And Becca. And Lindsay. Hello. Which pizza?
And she pizza place. I always go to.
Today? No.
2 days ago? Yesterday? 2 days ago? 2 days ago. And freaking first cast, she cast out a chatterbait. Boom, got one. It's like,
Nice.
what the? I'm leaving. Bye. Was already there for like 45 minutes.
Nice. Oh, Limit, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry, I set up the camera stupid, so I had to look past it to be able to see the chat for the most recent message. Yeah, so Chatterbait has been about the only thing that's been consistent. I finally got a couple on the spinnerbait over the actually 3 weeks ago now. Yeah, 3 weeks ago was my first one of the season. And then went out with my buddy John, the owner of Wicked Custom Rods, on Sunday, and I got another one. But we'll dive into kind of the minutia of that for a little bit. That thing swims so good for such a cheap glide bait.
I need to buy one because I just lost mine.
Oh.
First cast.
Which one? The S-Waver 168?
Yeah.
Just take mine. I don't even throw the damn thing. I really don't care. You can have it. It's all yours.
Okay, thanks.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
It was his birthday last week, May 1st.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Merry Birthmas.
Merry Birthmas. Birthmas?
Birthmas.
Ugh, gross.
Ew. All right. So let's talk about things that are, let's go current, and then we'll kind of roll into other things that are very much like situational and conditional, right? So the first thing, we'll cover it quickly because we've covered it so many times in the previous streams, but I always like to still go over it because we always have new people showing up to these streams. So I want to make sure that I'm not just leaving things out and assuming people were there. So right now, at least in southern New Hampshire, and that's we're like kind of in the middle of everything in New England. I mean, north, south, east, west, we're almost dead center.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually pretty damn close.
Yeah, we are.
So a lot of our smaller bodies of water are hovering right about mid-50s. And you're going to have wild swings depending on what kind of body of water it is, where you're at in elevation. Where the hell was I this past weekend? This past weekend we did 2 different places. First spot we went to wasn't even that big, and it was only 49 degrees.
Where'd you?
Place where you caught those. You and I were in separate boats, and you caught the 2 4+ pound smallies on the Hustler.
You went there?
Mm-hmm.
Son of a...
So...
And?
Water was 49 degrees. My buddy Dennis, who's on the show a couple weeks ago, beat me there, I think by like 5 or 10 minutes. And he went to the spot that I wanted to start at. No problem. There was like 3 other spots I was like feeling pretty good about. But he picked the most wind-blown bank that lake had for the last 3 days. After 2 hours, I had 0. John had 1. And Dennis had 14. All off that one skinny little stretch.
Where I caught the first one?
Further back up. Remember where I caught my first one on the point?
Off the point, yeah.
Yep, like starting from there, only down about 200 feet.
Where the dock is?
Yep.
In the corner?
Yep.
Okay.
Like, that was it. But, so, you know, to my point about where it's all over the place, it's only a couple hundred acres, but it's up there in elevation. It's pretty clear, and it was only 49 degrees. And then we drove 30 minutes, as the crow flies, maybe 12 or 13 miles, maybe, and further north, but lower elevation. That pond was about 2/3 the size of the first pond we were at, water 56 degrees. So even at really, really short distances as the crow flies, but with elevation changes in southern New Hampshire, you get pretty wild swings even in short distances.
Yeah. You could be fishing ice out and pre-spawning the same day if you wanted to.
You absolutely could. So, it's all over the place. In general, low to mid 50s, anywhere from 52 to like 56 is kind of where a lot of these places are at. Then you got some outliers, you get a few that are up above in like upper 50s, a couple that are still in the upper 40s, it all depends. So, Chatterbait, thing that I finally coming around full circle, is what I want to just touch lightly upon because it's something we talk about a lot. This has been an absolute dead consistent bait for me. Not just this year, not just last year, like the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And even going to the jackhammer because I like that bait better because it swims, it vibrates so much better than anything else, even at a slow crawl. I told him, I was like, I'm never going to buy one of those because I was like, yeah, cheaper ones work. And then he got me to throw one day. He's like, don't even just tie it on. So I did. As soon as it hit the water, I was like, all right, and this is the only one I'm going to buy for now on. It's huge. Like the 3 biggest things I can say about it. It starts up immediately. Like the original Chatterbait, you really got to kind of like snap it to get it going, and it doesn't really just jump out into that vibration.
You got to work at it. You got to work it to actually get it to start vibrating.
Right, and you're going to keep it moving at a pretty good clip too for it to stay vibrating. The jackhammer starts vibrating like instantly, so that's 1. 2, you can slow roll the hell out of it. It's kind of like 1 and 2 in the same time, but that's the original. You can slow roll the thing and still get a really good vibration out of it, which I really like, especially when throwing it on braid, because with a 6:3-to-1 ratio, I can crawl it, and I can still feel, as it's just vibrating along. Third best thing, and something that I didn't quite understand myself, someone helped point it out, so I can't take all credit for this. It hunts better than the original Chatterbait. Like, it's erratic on the retrieve when you get it moving at a good
I noticed that.
speed.
It's weird.
It's got a lot of good things working for it. It's versatile. If you're going to move it fast, it's going to hunt erratically. If you're going to slow roll it, it's still going to do what you want it to do, which is at least, making that little rattling knock. You can put a ton of different trailers on it. And that's one other thing I want to talk about. What do you remember what we were fishing on it mostly last year?
I always do the 3.8 Kitech on it.
That's bingo. So anything 3.8, I would say 3.5 to 4.5 inch for a paddle tail swim bait was like perfect. I tried a couple of 5-inch ones, but the only 5-inch ones I had were like, they were beefy. They were knockoff brand swim baits.
I just threw that on the other day.
That's funny, because I left that in my truck.
And
I literally have that.
You texted me, and I was like, dude, I did that like 3 days ago.
Did you? Before I did?
Yep.
Ah, you bastard.
I went over to Round and did it there.
It was John and I. All right, I'll get to that. So, typically, like a 3.5 inch to 4.5 inch swim bait trailer in the back of it is perfect. But one of the things I really like doing, and which pairs up so nicely, is the Beast Coast Marauder, or a craw trailer in general. I've got really good fish throwing like a Strike King Rage Craw. But that Beast Coast Marauder is kind of the best of both worlds, where the legs don't splay out super wide, so it's not like this crazy wide profile. And they're fairly streamlined, but they got that little kind of like protrusion at the tips. So when you're retrieving it, it still swims and reacts, but not violently. It's just like a really nice, almost like a boot tail swim bait kind of reaction to it. So it works really, really good on the back of a chatterbait because the overall profile is good. Like it's a 3 3/4 inch long craw trailer, and you turn it sideways. So as your bait's swimming through and you get the hook that way, you actually turn it this way. So the legs are sticking out this way instead of flat like that. And it looks good. It looks like just like a tail on the back of it. And it swims really great. So that's kind of number one. As far as chatterbait in general, elaborate on what you just picked up, because go figure, we both did the same thing this weekend. I tried a new trailer, trying to kind of think outside the box for a jackhammer. I actually saw a post.
You were throwing those on it, weren't you?
Yeah, so Beast Coast posted that guys down south were doing this, the Miyagi, which is a 4.65 inch boot tail swim bait. I've been using this for the last 2 years on a chatterbait. And it looks good, but I mean, like that on a skirted chatterbait, it's big. Like ask him. Every time I threw it, like it's just
it's large.
Yeah, it's a giant profile, and I only got like a couple of bites on it, despite how good I thought it looked.
So I knew he was doing that, so I was like, well, let's just throw the way bigger one on there.
6.5 inch creep from Beast Coast.
And I'm pretty sure I got hit like second cast, but I couldn't really tell because it's kind of hard to feel anything with this. But I felt something hit it, and then I got it back to shore, and there was no grass on or anything. So I'm pretty sure I got swiped at.
What head were you throwing that on? Was it the jackhammer or was it the older?
No, it was the original, but it actually helped it stay vibrating, I think, which is weird.
I was debating doing that, but I've thrown this now, the 4.65 inch swim bait, on the back of the original chatterbait, and now the jackhammer head. I just cut the skirt off on a couple of them.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut the skirt off a freaking jackhammer.
You can always put a new skirt back on, so I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna give it a shot. And it looks really, really good. So I was like, We were kind of struggling Sunday, the bite was slow, and I had already put, I think, 5 in the boat at that point, and I was looking for one more good one. So I took a gamble. We had tons of perch chasing us, and the Beast Coast creep.
These are
Wicked carbonated.
it says 0 carbs.
Okay.
Again. Nailed it.
There are no words.
I'll drink.
Anyway. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I had a couple of these out, so I picked one up and I threw it on, and
Jason.
What did I miss? Oh, Jason!
$5.
Hey, dude, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Jason is the owner of Crazy Hick Bait Company, which is based out of New Hampshire. So you guys should absolutely check him out. He's actually got some really good swim baits too, and a bunch of other soft plastics. So
he has 14-inch rubber worms, like ribbon tail worms.
Big boys that you want to T-rig or Carolina rig.
Yeah,
he's got the goods.
Anyway,
thank you very much, Jason.
Sick. Thank you.
We missed some other people. Oh, Justin and David, Wigan Bass Addict, David, John, David again, Donk Swampy, Brian, Jason. Oh my God, a lot of people. We missed a lot. Sorry. And David, purple makes you feel purple? I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. All right, so I tried this, right? It's an outlier. It's a huge friggin' bait, but even on that jackhammer, like slow rolling it, it looked good. Like it still had the right kind of action on it.
Really
it looked
good.
really good. I got hit. I was slow rolling it, and I got hit by something hard enough that it knocked slack in my line, and I missed it. And I was not happy with myself.
Well,
that's how she goes sometimes.
I feel bad. That text you sent me that night. Come back.
I'm on my groove. It's not like I don't even know what it is. I'm just trying to think like what is throwing me off. But it's not. It's just the weather, man. Everything's tough.
Yeah.
But surprisingly enough, like I thought with how inconsistent everything was going to be, that it was going to be like a finesse kind of spring. My best producing bait has been moving baits. I don't understand, but hey, I'm not going to complain because I love throwing a good moving bait. So, all right, step one's out of the way.
Fun.
What?
It's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
Something on a moving bait.
Yep. So, step one, chatterbait. Like, that's, honestly, you can start throwing it when like, after ice out. If you want something you can work pretty efficiently and cover water really slow, but still have really good action, jackhammer. Not just the chatterbait, but specifically the jackhammer for when the water's cold and you want to go slow. Never mind water temp. If you just want to go slow, like jackhammer. You can get away with, I've tried the elite version of it. I think that one's like $9, $10. And that one does a little bit better than the original jackhammer, or the original chatterbait.
I think that was the one I usually use, is the elite or the... That was the other one I have.
There's like 3 or 4 versions.
There's 8 of them.
Oh, there's 8. Okay, no,
8 or 9 now. Really good jerkbait day today. Good. I'm glad you did.
Oh, someone's got to, except for Dennis. Stupid Dennis. Dennis, I hope you watch it. I'm gonna berate you. He's killing it on a freaking jerkbait this year. He's the only guy I know that has been like dead consistent, like almost every single weekend, hammering them on a jerkbait. Not to mention 7.87 pound largemouth he caught on a jerkbait like 3 weeks ago. Ridiculous. So, all right, jackhammer is done. Get that out.
I'm jealous.
Moving up, and like what I really want to start with is like what's working now. Again, we'll say like 50 to 55 degrees, right? That's kind of covering the bulk of New England. And I want to go up into like say the next 10 degree swing, while still sticking to the best producing, most consistent producing baits that we've used. And then we're gonna kind of get into the nitty gritty stuff of like we've caught a few and we feel good about it versus like goddamn I really can't wait to catch something on that. Something like that comes to mind. Giant bait. What were you gonna reach for? Oh, you almost knocked that over.
Or that.
All right, we can move to that because that it would either be that or the other one, but one of those two. What are you doing? Oh,
what am I doing?
Oh god. Oh god in heaven. All right. So after the chatterbait, now we're talking waters like 55 plus degrees. Largemouth and or smallmouth. Smallmouth at this point definitely more active. They start spawning at about 60 degrees. So now you can like, depending on where you're fishing, things are starting to get like real good, real spicy. So from the jackhammer we go to
square bill.
Square bill.
Square bill. These things are absolute money. From my experience, when it's windy, the windier it is, the more fish you're gonna catch on it, and you'll catch some big fish on it too. Huge fish on this thing.
Now, actually, here's a question, because you brought it up a couple of times in the past. Have you done your bigger fish? Have all of them or the majority of them come when you've deflected that off something?
Absolutely, 100%. I take this thing and I try to break the bill off it on rocks. When I'm getting close to rocks, I will crank down to that rock as hard as I can, or I'll even snap the rod so it comes snapping down into the rock. And that's when my biggest bites have come using this. Or just dragging straight. If there's like rocks around but there's sand around, I'll dig this thing straight down into the sand. And that was what we were doing that day up on the place.
Yep. So it's funny you mentioned that because the 2 J's on the Beast Coast team last year went to Champlain for 2 days and they killed it. Not just numbers, but like a lot of big fish too. And I went fishing with one of the J's after that up here in New Hampshire. My boat was in the shop. And when was that?
That was 2 years ago.
No, that was this year.
Was it?
Yep. Because it was the first time I had brake problems. Or maybe it was just in there getting new brakes in general. Yeah, it was in there for like just the maintenance. I had some things that needed to get done, and while they're in there, like, yeah, your brakes are fried. So I had them put on new brakes while it was in there.
Oops.
So
I think my trailer doesn't have brakes. It doesn't have a wheel bearing right now either.
So when they were up there, water temp was about what we're talking about now. It was like mid-50s. And when I was in his boat, I looked down, and no joke, he had a handful of square bills with the bills gone, smashed off. I'm like, what happened there? And he's like, oh, dude, that was Champlain. They found a bunch of good rocky areas, and they were literally just smashing that crankbait into shallow rock so hard and for so often that they were breaking off bills. Several bills. They were fishing it but they caught tons of fish, and I think they had I know they had a 20+ pound bag every day, but I think they had a 25+ pound bag every day too. Like, dude, they were on them.
And the thing about these things is they're so cheap, you can go out and buy freaking 10 of them for like $30.
Yeah,
$40.
That's the Strike King KVD 2.5 on that one. This is a Lucky Craft blank painted by Rocky Ledge Tackle, based out of New Hampshire. If you're curious, there's a link to them down in the video description below. Even the custom painted ones, like I've got that one. I've got this red crawl one, which is a 1.5 size. That's from Dragon Custom Tackle.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's like, it's a ghost red crawl pattern. Like, even getting these custom painted, they're like $10 roughly. But then if you don't want to do that, like even the bigger 2.5 from Strike King, these are $8, I think. If you go to 1.5s, are like $4 or $5, something like that. You can find them anywhere. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you can find at even your mom and pop tackle shops.
That's in like the $2 bin at places. Like,
like the old bombers and stuff. Yeah,
I've literally gone to places and seen these in like the $2-3 bins, and just like, okay, I'll grab a whole handful of those and go out and catch a bunch of fish on them.
And it works killer. And so one of the things I brought up in previous streams, but I want to keep reiterating it,
dangerous,
just a little bit, is the beauty of the square bill, why it works so good in my opinion, is because of the wobble, right? Like, not only can you get it to deflect off stuff really great, that's kind of the biggest benefit of a square bill, but when you're slow rolling it, it's got this crazy wide wobble. It doesn't swim wide, it just rolls wildly, and it's got a very wide body roll to it. If you go ahead and get some lead tape, whether it be suspend-ons, suspend strips, like lead tape for golf clubs, whatever, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. Throw a little bit underneath there, and that will help slow how fast it comes up. That can be the difference maker when you're working shallow water. If you're seeing fish following it, and it's in an area you can't get a jerkbait to work, but you know the action and the speed and everything, and the square bill gets their attention, but you kill it and they're not going to commit to it, that is something you can do, and that helps big, huge, bigly huge. I'm gonna keep bouncing between what we're talking about and going to chat. I think there was something in there I missed. Well, actually, it's back up to Jason. Again, Jason, thank you so much, dude, for the donation. Greatly appreciate it. So last week we were a little over $600 for donations so far, marching towards that next goal of getting the digital camera. After the donations last week, we're up to $710, which is freaking phenomenal. I think we need to get, if we can get to 1,000, like that's ideal, and I'll cover the rest I need to get like a nice cage that'll help for like heat sink issues with it when we're using it for streams. It's gonna be on there for 2 hours. Battery eliminator cable, memory card, all that stuff. So it's like another $100 or so. For those,
Coach
Steve, dude, buddy, I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you. Greatly appreciate the donation, man. So now we're up to 700. Well, with those, we're up to $720. We back.
$19.99.
We're getting there. Like, things have been like this has been awesome, and the community support. I mean, to expand on that, the channel just hit 5,000 subscribers the other day, which is huge. I was worried about posting about it. I waited a few hours to make sure I was like past it, because I know every time you do that, no matter who you are, you post about it, right? And everyone's like, unsubscribe, because people are dicks. But we stayed about 5,000 the whole time. They kept going up and down, up and down, up and down, but it never went below it. So things are good. If anybody has ever considered donating, but you haven't, if you don't want to do it through YouTube, that's fine. One of the things that I just did, starting this week, I'll do moving forward, in the video description below, there's a link to both my Venmo and PayPal. So if you'd rather just donate through that, by all means, feel free. No pressure if you don't want to. It's fine. But, anybody that does, seriously, thank you. Like, that support, you guys have been killing it. This has been phenomenal. We've made more money in the stream donations than my channel's made in the last 2 years. Just from all the videos I do.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, that number, I was not expecting that at all.
Right?
I wasn't even expect really anything.
No, I just figured there'd be a couple of people that watch us every week and be like, yuck, yuck, yuck. We're dummies talking about fishing.
Yuck.
Yuck, yuck, yuck. Free yucks. What does Travis say? Everyone makes fun of me. I will find a phrase I like and I will hammer it into the ground. I will just absolutely kill it. from overuse.
He will.
And then people make fun of me for it. And then I had to find something new to overuse.
Haven't heard yucks in a while.
Yeah, because Travis was a dick about it. All right, so we've got Chatterbaits, we've got square bills. Next up, and fishing mode, I know he was supposed to be here at some point. This is going to be near and dear to his heart. Spinnerbaits. And So all of these are Rocky Ledge tackle, and there's reason for that, because they're the most durable damn spinnerbaits I've ever owned in my entire life. That is both a good and bad thing.
Even with rust on them?
Dude, that one's still... Even, like, those blades are, like, all, like...
I've had one that was practically rusted through, and I was still using and catching fish, and they were still fine.
Well, forget the hook. Look at the blades. Like, they're super tarnished, and it still catches good fish.
It's
like
patina. They love the patina.
When the water gets, like, 55 for your daytime lows, right? When you were talking... even actually, smallmouth, I haven't had as much luck with spinnerbait the last few years, but it still holds true for that. Like, 55 for largemouth and smallmouth, like, is kind of that magic number, where it's consistent. Not to say it cannot work before that, but for a consistent bite, that's where it really starts to go off. Excuse me.
You gross.
I know, dude. It's fucking drink. It's good though. I will do a couple of different things with this, but for the most part, I'm throwing this, like, again, when the water is minimum 55 and all of a sudden the wind starts blowing dead consistent for a few days. We've talked about this 1,000 times. I will throw the spinnerbait every single time. And I will start with the chatterbait now because that's working way better, but I will still go to the spinnerbait. I'll have both tied on when we're on that cusp of that. They're going to eat one or the other, and that's literally what happened to us twice now, and especially on Sunday. We were hitting them pretty good when we first started with the chatterbait, and the bite died. So now I specifically bought this for when that red fire craw bite was going off. It's a bigger golden blade, it's a fire craw skirt, it's a Rocky Ledge tackle thing. Third cast of that, I put in like a 2.5 pounder, I think, in the boat. So not a big fish, but...
When was this? That wasn't with me.
No, it was with John this past Sunday. And I literally said to him, I was like, well, bite's been dead for about 45 minutes. Let me try the spinnerbait. And like third cast, I picked one up on it. But the wind was consistent, and they were like, then actually the wind was getting worse, so they kept pushing up towards the bank. So I can get that more reliably into tighter, shallower cover, and it kind of climbs through, whereas the chatterbait tends to like to get hung up. Both good and a bad thing. So it depends on what I like to throw for colors too.
Yeah.
But before that, Dan, dude, thank you very much for the donation. Greatly appreciate it. What are we at now?
Oh, jeez.
20, I can math. 20. We're at 730 bucks. Can keep track of this. Thank you, Dan. Greatly appreciate it, buddy. So spinnerbaits, right? So it doesn't have to be windy. Doesn't have to be cloudy.
No, it doesn't.
But those two combinations together.
Yeah, or even just like sunny with clouds and then like super windy.
Wind really is my best friend when it comes to a spinnerbait.
Fishing alone with wind is just amazing.
It really is.
Because you don't have to be patient. You just rip shit across
Yeah.
and stuff and catch giant fish all the time.
I try to keep it simple. I've got a couple different colors. I generally only throw willow leaf or Indiana blades. I don't throw a ton of Colorado blades. I think this is like... Actually, that's more of an Indiana blade. That's not... that might be Colorado. Colorado tends to be much more rounded versus an Indiana blade is kind of a little bit more ovalized. And then willow leaf is, willow leaf. Look like teardrops. Kind of. I like willow leaf. Like, it depends on what you want to do, right? If you're going colder water, going slow, that's typically when you want that bigger, broader blade. It goes slower, it gets much more thump out of it. That's just kind of like that magic combo with anything else. If I'm really working things, I'm gonna go to a spinnerbait. Or yeah, willow leaf spinnerbait. And that's something that I can really like burn. I can keep it up just underneath the surface. I can broil it as it's coming back. Not really. I think it's supposed to replicate bait fish. I never really gave it much thought. I just know it works. But trailers. What do you do for trailers on your spinnerbaits?
I do the same.
How often?
All the time. I'd put I think I still use the 3.8 Kitech.
Yep.
And sometimes I go a little smaller. Not usually bigger.
There's only been a few instances where I've gone bigger, and it absolutely paid off.
It just kind of overpowers the bait at that point sometimes. It depends on the size of the spinnerbait too.
Yep. And it makes it like roll.
Yeah,
I found.
it does.
If I went too big on a spinnerbait.
Yeah.
And even with my rocky ledge, like they'll be swimming straight as an arrow, nothing on it. Throw a 3.5-inch swim bait on the back, it still swims straight as an arrow. But then you put a bait with a little bit too big of a boot tail in it, it just wants to kind of spiral, corkscrew as it's coming back to the boat. So food for thought when you're doing it. I do the same thing as him. Sometimes I've thrown it depends. It's not a Kitech, it was something else. Reaction Innovations Skinny Beaver. Not Skinny Beaver. Shut up.
Yeah, Skinny Beaver.
Skinny Dipper. That's a
Skinny Beaver.
They have a beaver and they have a Skinny Dipper. Shut your mouth.
Skinny Beavers.
That's a bigger swim bait, but it works. And it actually looks really good in the back of a spinnerbait. So you can kind of play with it around a little bit, but 3.5 inches is kind of that magic number. Upwards of 4 inches. It depends a lot on your skirt. Like you want it to stick out past the skirt, but not too much. Again, it's going to kind of impact the swimmability of your spinnerbait, for lack of a better way to put it. So kind of play around with it a little bit.
If you ever notice that this thing is starting to do this when it's coming back to you, when you don't have a trailer on it, if you line up, kind of figure.
Oh yeah, the hook shank
if you
to the
line
arm.
up this with the hook, and make sure that they're actually aligned. But if it's off, all you got to do is take it.
Yep.
And do that
Flex
until it's
back.
lined back up to it, and then it should swim straight.
Yep. Coach Steve, what do you recommend for largemouth in ponds right now? I mean, that's literally pretty much everything we're going to cover tonight. But if I had to pick, well, I'll let you start. If you had to pick 2 baits to go out with tomorrow, specifically for largemouth, what are you throwing?
Well, what's the weather going to be like?
All right. Well, tomorrow specifically is going to be mid-60s, sunny, light and variable winds.
Jig. Chatterbait.
Bingo.
And at night, the rat.
In this. I'm determined to get a fish on this thing. So not my most expensive bait, but it's tied for it. But it's definitely the biggest bait I own. This thing's freaking insane. We'll talk about that later. That's the tail end of this. If I'm going out, I'm literally doing the same thing as him. If I'm going to expand on that, beyond the 2, Chatterbait and Spinnerbait, again, it really depends on a lot of things. It's kind of hard to tell other than like that tipping point for water temp. 55, 56 degrees is about that tipping point, where below that, it's almost always Chatterbait. And above that, it's almost always Spinnerbait. So I would keep both tied on until I figure out which one they like. And either a jerkbait or a fluke. Because depending on where I'm fishing.
Actually, I'd probably throw a glide too.
Yeah, and so yeah, it also depends on when. Like I love throwing a fluke this time of the year, but I can't always do it depending on where they're sitting, what conditions are. Like if it's too windy, like my light setup, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So that's a little bit more circumstantial. But that's where I'm gonna be throwing right now for largemouth. John, it's crazy. I used to hate the wind, now it's my favorite. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was talking to Dennis the day that he caught his 7.87 pound largemouth a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me about it. He was like, I was at my usual spots out of the wind, and they weren't producing. And I remember what you said about in the stream, go fish the wind side.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I forget what he said. It was a handful of casts or just a couple minutes into it, whatever. All of a sudden he caught a fish, and a fish, and a fish, and then 7.
Yeah, what the hell? That's what happens. Dude, I was throwing a square bill. It was probably about the same size as this. It was like a 1.5. I think it was a 1.5 or whatever they are. And it was blowing. And I went in and saw one rock and I cast at it. And the next thing I know, I cracked the square bill off it. Next thing I know, I was 636. And that was casting that thing for maybe 10 minutes. And I had 2 smallmouth on it. And there's not a lot of smallmouth in that pond either.
No.
You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back a few more times, the same pond. I think I caught a 529 on that one too as well, on a square bill. And a jig. And it was this time of year. So,
yep.
Anything move, if it's windy, throw something moving. Like if tomorrow was like 20 mile an hour winds, I'd be throwing a spinnerbait or chatterbait all day long.
Yeah, that's literally where I would start.
I don't even know if I would throw a jig, and I love throwing jigs.
I wouldn't. Not right now. When the winds, especially with that water temp being on the cusp, as soon as it gets windy and it's consistent, like, they go crazy. And I won't even, unless the wind is blowing just right, like on a really good rocky bank, I'll throw a big jig. And I'll get it down there and I'll work it kind of aggressively. I won't just keep, bottom contact drag like I usually do. I'll pop it. Not crazy high. I'll get only, like 6 inches to a foot at max. But I'll work it kind of fast and aggressive. So if they are kind of hunkered down and they don't really want to come up, like, you're going to get one or the other. And I think in those instances, you get a bit of both. Where you get fish that are cruising and they're, pure reaction. And they're like, holy shit, look at that thing go. I got to eat it. And versus, there's still some fat bastards down there like, oh, wait a minute. Well, that's right there. So,
yeah.
You've got options. Let's go back to specifically soft body baits. And this is very much for smallmouth too, because, again, like those bigger lakes region New Hampshire, they're getting close. Like Brownie Factory, at this point, it's probably pretty close to 50.
Oh, dude, I bet that place is on fire right now.
Like in the next week or two, it's gonna absolutely go off. So I don't have a ton of options out here. I forgot to pull some more down, although... No, where did I put those? It doesn't matter. We can talk about it. Everyone knows what they look like. So let's just talk about soft body swim baits in general. Just on either a belly weighted swim bait hook, right? Which is great for these Beast Coast Miyagis. They were specifically designed to work with a 6/0 owner beast hook because they have a hook pocket molded in the belly. So when you set the hook, it has somewhere to slide up into.
It's a skinny beaver.
To expose the hook. Shank a little bit better and get a better hook set. I hate you so much. And then, on top of that, so like, let me simplify this or straighten out a little bit. So for largemouth, right, you really can't go wrong with this. You could also, for largemouth, depending on where you're fishing, throw it just on a jig head, whether it be a ball head or a football head. You want something with at least, in my opinion, a 3/0 shank, 3/0 size hook. So the hook shank comes back pretty far in the belly. The back, I like a 4/0. Like, to me, that's kind of like the magical spot for this. And then you've got, going along the same lines, well, you can show it, I don't know why I'm taking away from you, the Beast Coast Creep, which is that's that next step up. Same deal. That works, I think it was best on an 8/0 belly weighted hook. The owner Beast has got that screw lock bait keeper on the front. So it cinches in really nice. There's a lot of meat there for it to hold on to. And you can do a lot with that. Like, you can throw it anywhere because you're exposing hook point. You can get it, literally anywhere. You can throw it in rocks, wood, vegetation, whatever. Burn it, you can bottom bounce it, you can let it sit there and you can jig it. Like, these, just any soft body swim baits, Kitex, any size. Like, for me, when I'm doing that kind of stuff, I'm just swimming it, 4 inches minimum. Like 4 to 6 inches, 4 to 7 inches. Like, that's the range I like for largemouth.
Yeah.
We'll get to smallmouth next. But, like, that's, you really, if you just like to throw a swim bait, soft body stuff, cheap stuff, regular old jig hooks, it's really hard to go wrong with Beast Coast Miyagi, Kitex, Swing Impact Fat, even the skinnies. What's another good one? Well, I know, actually, Crazy Hick Bait Company, he's got some of the right size ones too. That's kind of different. That's why I'm just doing these straight up soft body swim baits first, because they're unweighted. We've got another one to talk about.
True.
Sports Central. Wow. Thank you, buddy. Greatly appreciate the donation.
Sports Central.
What to throw in cold Wibasaki right now? Are you asking that because you're fishing the Reynolds Open on Saturday? You are, no joke, the 5th person that has asked me that specific question. Because the Reynolds Open is this weekend.
Should not waste your money, go somewhere else.
Oh, I need to get a hold of a guy. I just remembered something. I need to get a hold of Mark before I forget. I don't really know what to tell you. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't.
I know a lot of people do really well up there with blade bait this early in the season.
Blade bait, I would say jerkbait, and Ned rig.
Mm-hmm.
Spider jig, big time. Actually, the next thing we're going to talk about too, swim baits. I would say anywhere from a 3 to 4 inch swim bait on a variety of weighted hooks. And I would go more on the light side of things than anything. And then there's a couple other things you could do, but I don't want to get too deep into that because it's not really in line with the conversation, the topic for tonight. But yeah, man, anything like that, like you want to cover your bases, right? Suspended and bottom contact, they're going to be one or the other. Drop shot, maybe not. I don't generally do very well with drop shot when the water's this cold. But like, again, spider jig, Ned rig, little tiny swim baits on light hooks, jerk bait, deep diving jerk bait, blade bait, as Andrew said. Like,
Jerk bait.
Yep, jerk bait again.
Jerk bait.
Even, honestly, maybe even a deep diving crankbait. And that's kind of like an outlier of a producer. It's not something I would really recommend because it's not consistent, but it does work from time to time. So, food for thought. Something like kind of, crap, I've thrown everything else, nothing's working. Could be a desperation throw.
Spy bait.
And at the same time, wouldn't be that much of a desperation. Spy bait, I can't. It's something I want to talk about, but that's kind of like in the later half of this where it's like things that I'm going to try hard, and I have been trying that hard.
Yeah.
Where with subscriber buddy there, Chris, 2 weeks ago, well, a week and a half ago. Yep. I started throwing that late in the day when things weren't going well, and it got dead slick out. I caught 2 rainbow trout.
With that?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Literally on the perch one. We'll get to that. So there's that. All right, so we covered largemouth, soft-bodied swim baits. So smallmouth. You can, I don't even need to say a word, you can cover this entirely on your own. For swim baits, like just straight up soft-bodied swim baits for smallmouth this time of the year.
2.8.
2. I mean,
3.
T-O. 3.
To 3. 3.5. You can go 3.5.
Yep. And a variety of body styles, too.
Yeah. Like, they got the Rhythm Wave, the Kitex. They got,
Jackal Rhythm Wave.
Yeah. I have a bunch of those at the house right now. What are those other ones?
Was the Kitech Fat Swing Impact.
Yeah.
Or Swing Impact Fat, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then there's the Easy Shiners.
That's what it was.
The skinnier version of the Kitech.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've been told by a lot of people, and it's funny because that guy I was fishing with recently, I don't want to give away too much of his secrets. It's not, whatever. I'll be respectful and careful, and I don't want to accidentally blow anything up on him. He likes not the Swing Impact Fat, something a little bit more subtle. And I know several guys that do the same thing earlier in the year. They prefer something more subtle. For me, my opinion, it depends on what you're doing with it. If you're really swimming it, yeah, it kind of makes sense. If you're just sitting on the bottom,
it doesn't really matter.
Right.
They're going to see it, they're like, that thing's dead, I'm going to eat it.
Right.
I want to
Hey, Gordy.
We should have just do that.
I know. It's supposed to work all the time, and I've had moderate success.
I've never caught anything on it.
I've only caught a handful.
I had one follower-up on the St. Lawrence with it.
You getting that? We'll get there.
I know, I just...
If we're talking, okay, so like Lakes region area, or like any of these bigger lakes, smallmouth get a lot more active. There's one of two things. You start working an aggressive jerkbait, or what we're talking about now, just regular old soft body, soft plastic, boot tail swim baits. The Kitex. You can do one of two things. If you're on the lower end of that water temp, where you're kind of closer to 50, light heads, like 1/8 to maybe upwards of 3/8 an ounce. Bottom contact. Keep it down there. And you can do that anywhere from a foot to 50 feet.
Yep.
Wherever the fish are, this time of year, it doesn't matter. They will eat that at times. It's kind of weird. It depends. The thing I've always said about small... What was the first thing I say every time we go smallmouth fishing? The first thing we need to figure out.
You ready?
Well, that.
Oh, that's what you said. What are they eating?
Which way are they eating?
Oh, yeah, up or down.
Up or down. If they're feeding down, then it makes life a lot easier. But if they're feeding up, you're not going to catch them dragging on the bottom.
No, definitely not.
But now you can swim it. And we've had really good luck just swimming anywhere from a 3.3 inch upwards of a 4.8 inch swim bait. And depending upon where they are, water temp and everything, like I've had days where I've caught them swimming it at the slowest crawl, a foot off the bottom, doing, oh my God, there it is. Doing like next to nothing, right? Just barely swimming the damn thing, but still moving it on a 1/8 ounce head, keeping it damn close tight to the bottom, and they'll thump it. And then there's been days, like there's actually a video I have from 4 years ago up on the channel somewhere. It's like best day of smallmouth ever. It's one of my oldest videos. And it was my buddy Josh and I, there we go, English.
Buddy of mine.
We're at the New Hampshire Brownie Factory, and wind was ripping 35 mile an hour gusts, but like sustained 20 miles an hour, right down the length of the lake. And my tow motor could do literally nothing against it. Props out of the water most of the time. And then we motored over to one bank, and the wind direction was like perfectly parallel to it. And I was like, put my hands up. I was like, do best we can. And we were going down it. And this was like the first day we had. Oh man, this may have been 5 years ago now.
That was a long time ago. I remember watching
5 or 6
that.
years ago. Well, that's a scary thought. It's a while ago. So yeah, no, it's 5 or 6 years ago. But
That's when you got that giant.
working spider jigs, my buddy burns it back to the boat, and he's a chaser. And then I do the same thing, a chaser, and then he does it. We both did it like 5 or 6 times. We see chasers. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna try the Kayak. Third, fourth cast, boom, catches the 3. 2 casts later, catches another 3. Catches a 4. I'm like, yep, okay, my turn. So I tied it on. We beat the piss out of that lake for the next 4 hours, and I think we put 70 fish in the boat, and we had a 22-pound bag of just smallmouth. We had 6 over 4. And I had the biggest of the day at 4 pounds, 12 ounces. And I'm pissed because I'm still convinced my scale didn't scale that thing right. It looked every bit of 5+ pounds.
It probably was.
The thing was huge.
It looked over 5.
Even Josh kept saying it the whole time. He could not believe it. But it was weird, so like it was a 4.8-inch Kayak on a half-ounce head. So that's the background story leading to this. Kind of giving some meat to why I'm saying this, where head weight matters. You know, at that point, water temp is 55 degrees. That is like prime time. Like smallmouth are going absolutely ham, and they're happy, and they just want to feast. And we were fishing a stretch of shore that had been hammered by the wind for the last 2 days, and especially today. And it was just pushing everything up into the shallows. You could not move that bait fast enough. So with that, half-ounce heads. Seems kind of overkill, but when you're trying to move a bait and keep it up high in the water column when you're moving it fast, but at the same, like not at the surface, but just below, like half-ounce, 3/4 ounce, like you gotta kind of play with it depending upon what you're doing. Snatchy Panda, Banjo Minnow.
Banjo Minnow.
Brian, hey buddy. And yes, oh yeah, did we say hi to Gordy? Gordy, I'm sorry, but hi.
Hi, Gordy.
Yeah, Brian, agreeing, swing impact for smallies. Yeah.
Gordy, I got your text. I just bad at replying.
You don't say. Jerry, thank you guys for the info. Went to the tackle shop you referred me to in Wallingford, Connecticut. Tackle Supply Depot. Yes! Dude, that place is awesome. Those guys are great.
I want to go down there.
Yeah, I'd love to actually go into that place.
We need to go to the river again. Like down south river.
Just get that thing fixed.
I'll cut it off right now.
Smallies are killing everything right now, by the way. I'm in Vermont. Big jerkbaits are key. So it's funny you mention that because we've been having a really hard time getting a consistent jerkbait bite for a lot of people around here. Not just me. I actually know a very, very limited number of people in New Hampshire, southern New Hampshire, and even into northern Mass that have been like consistently hammering them on a jerkbait. But I know plenty of guys that go up into Vermont and even down like Candlewood, and they're still hammering them. It's weird. It's been a really weird season. But to wrap up the point before I don't bouncing too much back and forth. For these swim baits, for largemouth, belly-weighted hooks, you can do anything with it. Literally anything with a belly-weighted hook. You just lightly expose it, right? Anywhere from a 4-inch to a 7-inch, and do whatever you want with it, depending on where the largemouth are. Sometimes they just want that big, but seemingly slow-rolling bait. For smallmouth, downsize accordingly, although they still will even eat this, and as our buddy TJ up in Vermont has been proving, they'll even eat this some days. 6.5-inch swim bait, just a regular jig hook. And just kind of play around with retrieve speeds and hook weights, depending upon what you're looking at for conditions. What else we got here? Melissa, get a kayak anchor and drill a cleat in your kayak. Yes, I've heard many people say that. And then,
yeah, they have that shallow water, like a Talon.
They do.
Those are pretty freaking expensive for a kayak.
Power Pole Micro.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I think it's either 6 or an 8-foot, but I think it's an 8-foot model.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty substantial. Actually, it may only be 6 feet, but I really do want to say it's 8. It's one or the other. That's all I remember for absolute certainty. And those things are awesome. But in the meantime, you can get one of those anchors that also has like the winch on it, so you can crank the thing back up.
I think that's what Kristen has on hers.
Yep. And that would actually be better in a kayak than spot lock feature, because isn't the spot lock the trolling motor on a kayak on the front? So if you spot lock, you'd be casting into the wind the whole time.
Right.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be sweet.
Snatchy Panda. I used the good old wiener-looking lure. I swear the fish looked like just brandy. Fantastic. Jesus. David, if you're still watching, thank you. Get your message, but I'm absolutely skipping that this week. But I'm going to try and get into that tournament next week while I'm up with Champlain. Dylan, dark sleepers are killer in 55-degree water. You can soul roll them, and they are surprisingly weedless. Hey,
it's funny.
You wanted to talk about something, right?
I was just trying to touch them because they feel so cool. Why don't the fish like to touch them? I haven't caught anything on these things yet. I haven't really thrown them that much, but I did have one follower, and it was a giant up in the St. Lawrence. I don't even know if it was a drum. I have no idea what it was. It was big, though.
Yeah, I don't remember. Remember when we saw that?
It was a gar.
That was a gar. I had to think about that. I was like, what the hell did we see?
It was in cool. Like 50 feet of water.
But 2 feet below the surface.
Yeah, that was wild. I was really like, what is that? What the fuck? What is that thing?
Big gar. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it was like 4 feet long.
So, all right, let's talk about these then, because Dylan just brought them up. Dark sleepers from Mega Bass, and there's a bunch of different sizes. So you said you really haven't caught anything on them.
I haven't.
How have you been fishing them? Because I
usually like a jig, or I slow roll it across the bottom.
So you and I are fishing these identical, and that's probably why we're getting our asses kicked.
Probably. I've
caught like somewhere between 5 and 10 fish on this, and I own far too many for how little fish I've caught on them. I don't know what it is about this bait. Like, I know it works, and I don't know if it's just a color thing, if I'm not throwing the right ones or whatever. But the beauty of this, for anybody who hasn't used this, it's, you know, it's an overmolded, like, lead hook. I don't know if it's lead or not. It probably is. But it's a little swim bait body. But inside the dorsal fins is where the hook is. So you can make that thing perfectly weedless, and you can swim it through just about anything. It works killer along the rocks. Like, you can just climb it up and over, because that, you know, the hook head being up a little bit when you lift up, it really kind of picks the head up. So it climbs over hard structure really nice, but then you can swim it. It actually looks pretty good just straight swimming the thing. But I haven't really had any luck swimming it. But it's still something I wanted to bring up, because I know lots of people that kill it on these things. Just largemouth and or smallmouth, doesn't matter. They both love them. So, food for thought. If you're looking for something, you know, different, I don't think it's something that a ton of people still throw. And you can get a bunch of different hook weights.
I don't know why. These things, they just look so good.
Right? This is actually a 3/4 ounce, and I think it's a 3.5 inch bait. So, like, you can get some pretty heavy duty ones. I think the 1 ounce one is only a 4-inch bait or something like that.
They're not much bigger.
No. So it's a good thing and a compact thing, good weight to it. So even in windy conditions, like, you can bomb that thing. You can get pretty crazy with it. And they got some good colors, like, you know, black and blue, stained water. Absolutely worth looking at if you're interested. Brian, just got a pack of Miyagi. Can't wait to use it. What kind of rod do you like for that? Medium, heavy?
I would Miyagi. That's the smaller one, right?
Yeah, that's the 4.6.
You probably get away with Miyagi.
You can use like Miyagi for Miyagi?
Pre Miyagi. Pre Miyagi. Post Miyagi. Post Maloney. Post Maloney.
I don't like him. Yeah, 7-foot medium heavy with at least 15 pounds straight fluoro.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I recommend for braid, but any of those would be great. I've thrown it on. Actually, it was one of the things I really wanted to talk about tonight too, was specifically gear. But at the way the pace we're going, we're not gonna be able to do that. So we'll just kind of start rolling gear recommendations as we go. I've thrown this on anything from a 7-foot medium heavy fast with 15 pound fluoro to a 7.2 heavy fast with 20 pound straight fluoro. Love them both. I've also done it with straight 30 pound braid. I'm just kind of weird about going straight braid on like swimming baits like that for not treble hook applications.
Yeah.
Which kind of sounds weird, but I like being able to drop the hammer on them with straight fluoro and know that I really can't underdo it like I can with braid, and I can't really overdo it either, because you've still got enough stretch that it's going to give. Which is odd, because the only exclusion I have to that is my Chatterbait, my jackhammer. I actually like that better on straight braid. But hey, that's just me.
Tokyo rig, a Kitech.
Cool way to give a different presentation.
Whoa, that's actually a good idea.
That is a really good idea. There's a spot I wouldn't mind trying that on. I didn't even think about that before. But I've only thrown the Tokyo rig once so far. That's something I need to do a little bit more of.
I threw it a bunch last year.
I bought like 10 rigs. They're all on my boat.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I bought a 3-pack, and they're all gone.
Well, you can have one of mine. Because clearly I don't throw it. Lead-free bass jigs makes actually a really good one. For cheap money, too. That's where I got my stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I think I got mine up at the Sunapee shop.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Actually, that guy sells lead-free bass jigs.
He
stuff,
does.
So it's probably his stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I think it was.
Yeah. Mike likes them in current the most and nasty and rocks. Dude.
Mike.
We bought all of these because of you for the St. Lawrence, and guess how many fish we caught up there on that?
I want to talk about that week.
It hurts still, man. We tried like hell. We just they didn't really touch anything bottom contact like that. Like
for us,
I caught one on the tube that week. The first time we went. Remember, it was my biggest one, the 4.4, or no, it was 3.97 or something like that, off that super steep like spire almost thing in the middle of the river, and the American like almost right next to where I got pulled over for speeding. We pull up on it and we're in 60 feet, and we can see like 20 feet in front of us. It's 3 feet.
Yeah, and right below us, or behind us, is 120 feet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fishing almost a cliff face.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Do nothing up there, but we also went at 2 really terrible times, so is what it is. Jasper, 10,000 fish made a similar bait in a more bluegill crappie shape profile, so maybe that would work better because New Hampshire doesn't have gobies.
Well, that's a good point, but that taller profile, I don't like it.
Yeah, and I mean that is a goby, but overall it doesn't look that far off a micro perch or a little baby bluegill.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, from like a pure sideways point, it's pretty close. From maybe that way, not so much.
Just personally, I don't really like the shape. Throwing baits that have the shape of a bluegill or a crappie really because they're just really tall. Because of what I heard from who the hell was saying that?
Were you talking to Joe?
Might have been Joe. Might have been Tactical Bassin.
No, it was Tactical Bassin.
Was it?
You told me about, yeah.
Yeah. And it made sense. 100%. It absolutely made sense. That if you had a skinnier bait with the pattern of a bluegill or a crappie, and that you would most likely will get hit more. Like if this perch pattern was bluegill or crappie, you will get hit more. Compared to something that tall. I mean, this is just a top water bait, so... Actually, does this crank down? It does crank down?
6 feet.
It's gonna take a while for you to get a fish on that.
Shut up.
But if it was this shape...
It's not that tall. What are you talking about? That's not really, as tall as that. I already really caught a ton of fish on that thing.
You're ruining my point here.
So, alright, there's that. We've covered all that. Okay, so let's talk about one of the last things that I know is produced, and it's done really well, actually, not just for me, but for others. Mag draft. And another one of the things about this is, like, there's kind of a lot of overlap, right, between what we've talked about now and previous streams. And especially that swim bait stream. Like, there's now, like, the more exotic things, there's a little bit of overlap. But the 8-inch mag draft still bears repeating because it's really easy to find these things, and they're cheap. The 8-inch is 3 ounces. That's what I measured on my scale. I don't remember if it says on the packaging.
I think it was...
Well, like, feel that. It doesn't feel like a 3-ounce bait.
No, it doesn't.
Right? What feels heavier?
Well, that does, obviously, but...
2 1/4 ounces.
What?
3 ounces on the dot. It's stupid, right? Doesn't make any sense, because that absolutely feels heavier than this thing. Easy. But I have a scale, like a little food scale, and I've weighed them both. That's 2 1/4 ounces for that thing, and this is 3. But it doesn't feel or cast like a 3-ounce weight. It's weird. But
no, that thing casts super easy. Like super easy.
So I don't know if... So I know in the 6 inches, right? You can get either the pre-rigged, like this, where it's... Ow. Drink. Okay. Where you've got the treble hook, and it's got like a whole rig buried in the body. It's overmolded. And there's actually some magnets in here, so if you wanted to go just single point out... See, that's why I don't like doing it, because it's supposed to... The magnet is supposed to hold it, but it doesn't hold for crap. That hook's too big. But anyway, so there's a little pocket in there where you can bury the one treble hook.
The 6-inch holds pretty good.
Yeah, this treble's just a little too big for the size magnet they have in there on the 8-inch. But you can bury the one hook point in there, and then these two, like on a really violent cast, it still kind of pops out. So I will barely skin hook the point of the treble in the body when I bury it in there, and it stays. And I'll be able to get like 10 or so casts in it before I all of a sudden, I'm reeling in and I can see the treble hook swinging freely underneath it. This thing works great though. It's been catching big largemouth and big smallmouth all over New England. And not even big fish, dude. Like even like 2-pounders will eat this. And it's crazy.
And suckers and white perch.
And white, dude, he caught like, what was it, 10-inch white perch?
Yeah.
But it was fat.
It was huge.
I tried to eat this thing. This big 8-inch swim bait.
First cast.
When I was fishing with John Emery last year in one of the glacial lakes up in New Hampshire, in the lakes region. And 55-degree water. Actually, I think it was 53. And he started throwing this. I didn't even own one yet. And all of a sudden I hear him go, oh my god, and I look back, just one of the biggest, fattest friggin' smallmouth in the world was swimming right behind the thing. Even I still think about that fish. It's kind of almost like a glide, right? Like in the sense of like, it's got big fish drawing power.
It definitely does.
But you'll still catch mediums on it all day long.
Yeah.
And they're not that expensive. I think they're $20, something like that.
I don't remember how much there was.
I think
it was
where
like
I was
25 or 26 bucks, something like that.
I know that's what I was paying 25 each from a small local tackle shop. So we'll say anywhere from 20 to 25, I guess, depending where you're at. Whoa, Gordy, 603 Wild. Thank you very much for the donation, sir.
Thanks, bruh.
Great, bruh. $752, people. We're doing awesome. We're gonna get that camera soon later. We'll probably get it right in time for that cast to come on.
I freaking hope so.
Stop doing stupid things.
I need to catch a fish. And I mean like set the hook on a fish, not just...
Drop the hammer.
Yeah. I'd probably break my wrist on the first hook set.
Yeah. Empire Jerky. I remember my first oversized treble.
Oh, Empire.
Dude, I totally forgot. I'm sorry. I was supposed to help just talk about one of their newest beef jerky. It's cayenne coffee. It is honestly heaven.
I like coffee.
I'm not huge on coffee flavor or anything, and this was freaking amazing. I don't BS anything, by the way. You guys know that. I think over the years I've proven that. Like, whatever I say is genuine, and there's no lies, no bullshit, nothing. Like, if I say it, I mean it. This was freaking good. It was really good.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I still have some. Okay. You are more than welcome to have it, sir.
Okay.
Run out to my truck. I'm kidding. It is in my truck, though. Brian, I saw Zaldane bending one hook way out to keep the hook in the body. That makes sense. I should actually do that. That's not a bad idea. Don't really need the one. I mean, you're only going to eat the two anyway. And those are two honking frickin' trebles. You get one of those on there, that's as good as a jig hook.
Yeah.
So it's great. Hey, Talon. So how's the thumb? Hey, my thumb is great.
What'd you do to your thumb?
Remember I hooked it?
I remember.
It hurt a lot. But hey, hook point came out easy peasy, so it was good. Brian, thank you very much for the donation, sir.
Another one.
Really appreciate it.
You guys are killing it tonight.
Hell yeah. We're going to get that camera. That's going to be awesome. I already did all my due diligence too. I know everything we need to buy. It's going to be great. So it's actually 2 points, right? For big swim baits. And again, largemouth or smallmouth, this is friggin' awesome. It's going to do whatever you need it to. Don't pay attention to what the patterns are called. I forget what the hell this is called. It's not Wagasaki. It's something else.
The color?
Yeah. That's...
No idea.
That is really close to a rainbow.
Fake
up
rainbow?
Here.
I was going to say fake rainbow.
They actually have one called fake rainbow.
Do
and
they?
It's almost a dead perfect color match to our brown trout.
Is that the one I have?
Might be. I know I just bought one.
I
literally have 6
spots all over it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's the one I have.
Yep.
I have the 6 and the 8 inch in it.
Nice. So I have a couple of 6 inches now, but I went for the 8. So again, it's got good drawing power. For big fish, largemouth or smallmouth, it works even catching small fish. Like, if you want to throw something big that's still going to catch, like, medium-sized fish, get this. And no, I have no idea what the hell a Wagasaki is, Brian. Who we miss here? Sports Central. Answer my question before. Here you go. Thanks again. Awesome, dude. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate the donation.
Thank you.
And Sterl. Holy crap. Guys, this is insane. Thank you very, very much, man. Awesome. You guys are freaking amazing.
Jesus, it's already Thursday?
Wow,
I'm doing a live stream. It's already Thursday.
Where have you been? Another word,
out
man.
to lunch, man.
Dan's not here, man.
Jan.
Thank you, Jan. I want to queue up. I want to get it so it's called a stream deck, and you can like pre-program things to happen when you just push buttons. I don't want to do that for every time someone donates. I can push a thing, and Brian will pop up on the screen going, "Thank you." That'd be great.
Yeah, we should totally do that. Until do you ever pinch the barbs so unhooking the fish is easier? I pinch my barbs so I don't kill 100 pickerel. So that I don't kill 100 pickerel a year? Why?
No, I'm kidding.
No. Keep those barbs out for them pickerel.
I know other people that do that. I don't bother. For pickerel, they're actually pretty good about coming unhooked, even from like a gnarly treble.
Yeah.
Like you can be pretty aggressive with those things, and they're sturdy fish.
Yeah, they'll be fine. As long as you don't rip their gills out, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine anyway, but...
Nick Costa, MB Gizzard is the color. Oh, thank you. Yep. But it's
Gizzard,
crazy because it actually
one?
looks, it looks about as close as you can get, at least for the color hues for a rainbow trout up in really clear water.
What's it called? MB Gizzard. Still got a spot like a...
It's a smelt. That's what Wagasaki means.
It's a smelt. That's what... Oh,
I don't know if he's joking or not, but
I don't know.
I'll buy it.
Wagasaki.
So continuing that vein before we get like into kind of like some of the more things that I know work, but hasn't worked for us yet. Things that have worked somewhat, and things that I really want to work. But last but not least, Huddleston. Like everybody that has ever looked at a big bait knows Huddleston. Yeah. It's probably the most widely known big bait name in the world.
I've never bought one.
This is actually the very first swim bait I bought was this. So this is the Deluxe 68. So it's a 6-inch swim bait. Beautiful natural yellow perch color pattern, but the hook is buried up here in the body. The problem is, like, even it doesn't really deflect that much to expose the hook. Like, even you mash it down the front,
it's not that much.
There's really not a lot there.
Really gotta set that hook on that thing.
I've hooked 3 fish in the last 4 years on this bait, and I've caught one of them. So I know it works for other people. I know that I was not throwing it on the right hook, on the right rod. And I know that I was not waiting for them to eat it. There's a lot of things that I've done wrong over the years, which definitely leads to why I haven't done well with this. But there's another one where these are actually relatively cheap. And it's big, but it's not that big. In the grand scheme of things, it's like a 2-ounce swim bait. Again, it's 6 inches. You can throw this through anything. You can crawl it through rocks. You can swim it through any vegetation, and it does really well. And it swims at a really good rate, depending on what you get. Because there's a bunch of different ones. There's a rate of fall 0, 5, 8, and 12 and 16, or any one of those combinations.
1 and 12.
If you get a light one, like in my case, it's a 5. I could not find a heavier rate of fall, so I grabbed the 5. You can get some nail weights and very carefully and strategically stuff them in the body as centered and straight as you can, so that when it falls, it still does what it's supposed to do. It falls level. It doesn't roll or dip nose down or tail down, whatever. So you have to play around with it a little bit. But even a 5/32 ounce nail weight in the body of one of these, and I've got 2 8-inch ones, does huge help for how much it'll help increase the rate of fall on them.
I remember watching it go up, and it was like, straight down.
So I've got 2 8-inch. No, I have one. I snapped one off, but I have one of the 8-inch HUDs, right? And that's what I did. I put 2 5/32 ounce tungsten nail weights in the body. I was really careful where I put them. I put them right about where the lead is inside the body, and it was a little nose down, but it was pretty damn close to level. And it went from a rate of fall 5 to probably like a rate of fall 15. But I wanted that because I wanted to work it down deep in the rocks. So depends on what you want to do. But again, if you're looking for something, and then this is like not a hugely good producing moving bait bite, but if you're looking for something different, and especially if you're in a like shallow place, a lot of vegetation, it's worth taking a look at and potentially adding to the arsenal. Food for thought. If you don't want to really break the bank on that, then I would look at the bigger Kitex. They make a 6.8-inch, close enough, and those are cheap. Throw a bellyweight hook on it, easy peasy. You know what? One of the things we didn't really talk about yet. Oh, by the way, I was really specifically talking about largemouth, but I know guys that have caught giant smallmouth on literally this. So
I don't get that.
Don't overlook it.
I mean, I do, but I don't.
Well, let's go back to the chat for a minute before we get started even further. Yes, Jason, you absolutely are going to have to make big swim baits.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
The market for them is insane. We can talk about it offline if you want at some point, just to shoot the breeze about it. Like, it's mind-boggling what people are getting for swim baits, for big swim baits.
Yeah.
More importantly, more than anything, one of the things that's really missing in the market is what Beast Coast has done here with the 6.5-inch swim bait. But even beyond that, and I wish I had brought it in with me, but it's in the boat. Working Class Zero, the Citizen.
Yeah.
It's they have a 7-inch and 9-inch. It's just pure poured soft body swim bait, but it looks like this. It's for like bulk, but it's 7-inch bait, or maybe even 7.5-inch bait. This guy cannot make them fast enough. And they sell for crazy money, like, just because they're that high demand, and people reselling them, it's insane. I have 3 of them. They swim so good. It's insane. So, food for thought, man. If you're looking to kind of do something different, that's the direction I would recommend going. When is Travis going fishing again next to you? Which Travis? I know a lot of Travises.
Oh, dear.
Colton. Wait, Colton, you talking about the nail weights in it? Because I hope so.
I think so. That's what you said.
Yeah, dude, it's surprising how good it works. And you just got to play with it a little bit. So just kind of be careful you stuff it. But I just try and keep it as close to the bulk of where the weight is to keep it as balanced as I could. And it worked out mint. Like, I got it first shot. Just kind of felt around. Like, yep, okay, weight's there. If I put them in here at this angle, it should hug right against the, bulk of the weight in the body. And it worked mint. Nick. So I would like to, but I'm kind of tapped out on big baits right now.
Baldy baits? Yeah, those look sweet.
Yeah, I really need to start
catching
fish on glides.
So...
Let's talk about glides, but we can talk about... Well, no. Before we get there, there's one last thing for traditional baits that I want to cover, because we didn't talk about them, and it's not really moving bait, but it's moving bait. But before that, no, Empire, you are hearing static sporadically. I'm not sure what the hell it is in my setup that's doing that, and I apologize, but I haven't been able to troubleshoot that yet. I think it has to do with the way the mics are set up, because these are very input, like, hungry, or gain hungry, and I'm supposed to have, like, a little booster back here, but the only ones that work with this have been on back order for the last 3 months. Until I get that, I think that's the issue. And then I can turn the, input volume way down, but still keep the volume that you're hearing at this current level, and that should help it. That Travis, right. See, I know that he's one of 4 Travises I know. I don't know, man. Whenever you and him want to go, like, anytime, man, we'll make it work.
Yeah, you got 3 weeks, so make it snappy.
Not this weekend, but maybe, and not the weekend. No joke. So, 2 weeks from this weekend, we should be able to make that work. If you're interested. Nice, Jason. That's what I like to hear.
Oh, sweet.
Brendan Woods. Smallies love those dark sleepers. 3.5-inch. Fishing them almost the same as a football jig. Nice. All right, that's good. I mean, that's what we tried doing with those damn things, and it's just... That's pretty much how the only small I've caught is by doing that, fishing like a football jig.
Oh, yeah, dude. We killed it last year on those.
On the football jigs?
On the football jigs.
No, but he's specifically talking about the dark sleeper, fishing
sleeper.
like that. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, just a... We know about that.
Yeah, we figured that one out quick. Hey, let's try that color.
Cam, are you asking because you're fishing the tournament this weekend? I have to ask because I've had so many people ask me about Winnie this time of the year or Winnie this weekend. Honestly, I've only been on Winnie like once or twice this early in the year. I avoid it like the plague. I'm not a fan of that lake. I know it's good for largemouth and stuff, but I like to be alone when I go fishing. And I don't like getting buzzed by people. I know this time of the year there's like almost no pleasure boaters, but nonetheless, it's not my jam. I'm
all set with that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I would, if I were to go out there this weekend with that tournament and in mind, with the conditions, oh God, they could be anywhere, man. I don't even know what the water temp is. I heard it's all over the place, anywhere from like 47 to like 55. I'd be looking for that warmer water. Northern side, looking for likely staging areas for largemouth. Yeah, maybe not all the way up there, but halfway between there and Main Lake.
I would.
Anywhere in that stretch. And
there's still some deep pockets up in there.
Mm-hmm. Jerkbait, jig, different swim baits, lipless crank, spider jig. It's the best I can do because I really haven't been up there that much this time of year. Oh, damn, dude, congrats. I know you're expecting a kid.
Who?
Happy to hear that. Dustin, the owner of Empire Jerky.
Oh, sweet.
Congrats, sir.
Congratulations.
Who do we miss here? Head to Moltenboro and chuck a chatterbait. Yeah, then there's that. Any tips or insight regarding the drought we had? The bass coming up to bed on what's left of the shore, and then all this rain pushing water level way back up. Fishing for the bank seems pretty poor lately.
So I fished the bank 6 hours the other day.
They might not be able to hear you from that far back.
I fished the bank for 6 hours the other day, and they were on beds. They were... Actually, I washed a couple fanning beds out, and I literally could not get anything to bite. I'm guessing it's just the time of that they were in the middle of doing the dance, and they just weren't feeding at all. I couldn't get anything to bite. Actually, I got one to bite, but I left it on the bed for about 10 minutes, and I was on my phone. And then it finally picked it up and swam away with it. And that was it. But with the drought, they're still going to relate to where they're going to be bedding. They're still going to find some sort of structure to bed on, or any sort of flat, and they're still going to bed in the same depth as they would. So just keep an eye out. Once you start seeing the beds really start keeping an eye out, they'll be roaming around there. Storm's waiting in tomorrow for me, so I'm not getting water this weekend.
Oh, that sucks, Talon.
Why?
Well, I mean, see, that's the importance of having good rain gear, though, because fishing in storms, I love it.
Best.
It really is.
It's the best. Summer storms, oh my god.
We've had some of our best days fishing in summer storms.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. Like that, just that pressure change and the condition changes. Like, it's just a combination of everything, I think. But it fires them up, and especially the bigger fish. Especially the wind's picking up, too. Like, all of a sudden, your spinnerbait bite, what we found out last year, wakebait bite, that was nuts. And they weren't just hitting it, they were destroying it. Every time. It was awesome.
Dude, the wakebait bite. Oh.
Well, and that's... So, all right, let's finish these two, and then there's two last baits I want to talk about that are more kind of like... Well, one is like a surefire thing, just not for us. And the other one is kind of a more exotic thing, which is supposed to work, but just this year has been a real pain in the ass.
Which one?
Bigger baits, wake baits.
Oh.
But, jerkbait. You can speak more to this than I can, but it's not...
I kind of lost...
bait, per se.
Lost everything that I knew in the last couple of weeks.
Well, so this year...
Forget about everything.
I know. This year is definitely an outlier for this not producing. But
right.
When you're talking about smallmouth, water low to mid 50s, or actually even 50 degrees. Like, I've had plenty of days where even when the water temp, daytime high, hits 50, and they move up shallow, and they will destroy a fast-moving jerkbait.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
Snap, 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 snap. Pause.
Yep.
Snap, 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 snap. Pause. Snap, snap, snap. I'm like...
Yeah, you
can't even do that.
No, you're moving it really rapidly, tight line. You're not, going slack and trying to catch up with slack. No, you're just reeling as you're snapping it, and just keep reeling and snapping, keep reeling and snapping, and then pause, once every 15 to 20 feet, and then burn it hard again and pause. And it's that crazy fast erratic action over short to medium distances, and that they're gonna see it, they're gonna come chase it, and you pause it, and they just freaking rear end the thing.
It's insane.
Yep.
It's absolutely insane. If you haven't done it, you need to.
And same thing for largemouth. Largemouth, I feel like you have to work in a little bit longer of a pause and maybe not quite as fast and aggressive. Smallmouth are just friggin' aggressive.
Yeah.
When that water is in that range that we're talking about right now, right? Mid 50s. There are some days you literally cannot fish it fast enough. You can be fishing a 7.2 to 1 and just cracking the shit out of it, and they're still gonna come up and smoke it.
Oh yeah.
But largemouth, you can still just crack, about half the pace, but
they'll still
aggressive.
Smash it. They'll still come up and destroy it. Remember that one time? Well, actually, that was ice out pretty much. And I was just sitting there, and the freaking largie came up and almost took my rod out of my hand. Happened twice. That was insane. Yes.
Yeah, Empire Jerky. That's funny. It was so funny that you guys were there with me that day. First and only time I fished in snow, but not because I never want to do. It's literally the only time I've been out. I could go out fishing when snow was supposed to happen. Whole boat is covered.
Yeah,
you couldn't see it. It was amazing.
Sent me a picture of it. You're like, look at this.
Travis was in Crocs and socks.
That's my hero. Dude, I have some tactical Crocs that I kind of want to wear. They're pretty sweet.
And I'll mock you.
My mom bought them for me.
So Colton, that's literally what we do every year too, man. We'll start in Mass, and we'll just keep chasing that low to mid 50 degree water as far north as we can, and we'll go. We didn't really go to Squam that much last year,
I didn't even go to Swam last year.
Last year I said we went to Vermont. But same deal, like as far north, but like water temp range as that. And by the time that hits spawn, we come back down to our area, Colton, because you live one town over from me, and all of a sudden it's in post spawn and all these smaller kettle ponds. So it's great.
It's like, yes.
It's pre-spawn, and post-spawn. You never have to hit a bed. It's awesome. I think there's like every year there's always a trip where we're like, it's on the cusp, and let's hope for the best. And you get there, shit, they're all in beds.
Yeah, whatever. We'll catch 100 fish today.
Right. And there's been plenty of times where we've done that too, and we're there for like 3 hours. Like, okay, we're done. I'm not gonna do this for 8 hours.
Can you leave our fish alone? No, lady. Pitch in and catch it right in front of me.
I'm sorry, what?
That was like a 4-pound smallie.
Oh my god, that was amazing. Yeah, Sports Central summer storms really are the best fishing. I love fishing summer storms.
Oh yeah.
Except for when you go to pick your rod up and you hear everybody on the shore.
I've had that. That's sketchy.
It's scary as shit.
Up on the res.
Yep.
With Memo. The whole canoe was the whole rim around it. The one I gave Keith, the canoe I gave Keith, the whole thing was like buzzing, like vibrating. It was weird. It was scary.
Brian, what jerkbaits do you guys like? I like the LC pointers, but they are a tad loud. Mega Bass 110s are my confidence, but I still only primarily fish jerkbaits when it's like cold water, when they're really ideal. When it gets warmer, I tend to put them down.
I'll throw them all year.
This one is one from Dragon Custom Tackle. It's the Duo Realist 100. Love this. Another great action. I have a bunch of baits from him painted in this. Which, by the way, if you guys are looking, he does a mean smelt pattern that's for, up here around New Hampshire. So keep that in mind.
That's kind of smelty-ish. Not really.
It's like a
cross melt.
Yeah, it's like a little hybrid of things. But I really like that color combo. And then what's the other one that... Well, you do the Berkeley cutter.
I do the Berkeley cutter, the 90 and the 110. Oh yeah, that. Is that what we're called? X-Wraps? I don't know.
Well, there's the X-Wrap, and then there's another one that's very similar to it. But yeah, the Rapalas.
Yeah, Rapalas.
Yeah, I just like the 110s because they're... I've done a lot of the Lucky Craft pointers, the SP100s. Love those. Those are my second favorite jerkbait. If I'm looking for something like right out of the box, it's perfect, right? Spins just the way you want it to. Then Mega Bass 110, Lucky Crafts, they cannot be beat in my opinion. When I'm fishing water temps where I really don't care how perfectly it suspends, then I like the duos and other things like that. Let's see here. Oh, Joyous Fox. Ever fish Wentworth? Yes, I was just literally there 2 weeks ago. And only the second time in my life I've ever fished that lake, and it did not disappoint again. Slower than hell. There's giants in there, man. Both largemouth and smallmouth. But, and I say this, I rarely talk about lake locations, right? If you go, for the love of God, be careful.
Is it rocky?
Like, if you've ever been to Squam Lake, you know Squam. Yeah. How many friggin' rock piles are there? You have Sketchy. To know where they are.
Remember the one we almost ran over on Lake Ontario? You almost sent me out of the boat.
Whoa! Boat's already up on the side. Andrew, hang on! He's like half out of the boat. What? It's too late, Sean.
It's a little late for that.
That's what you said.
I wish that was on video. Oh my god.
That was funny.
If that was the other way, if you were turning right...
Oh, you would have toppled right into
me. 200 feet of water. See you later.
No, it was only 10.
I know.
Yeah, so seriously, if you go there, and if you've never been, but you want to go, oh my god, please be careful. There's so many rock piles. And it's just like Squam, for anybody that's ever been there, or even Winnie. Like, if you do not pay attention to what you're doing, you are going to beat your boat on a giant rock pile, and you're going to have a really, really bad day. So, just keep that in mind, please.
Yeah, running over rocks is not fun.
Yeah, outside of saltwater, my largest fish is off a dock on the St. Lawrence River. Lake trout. Jeez, that must have been fun. Wow!
Holy
38 to 42 inch lake trout? Yeah, that's tiny.
Yeah, that's not big.
Smidgen big. Oh, yeah, I can't even imagine what those rock piles look like with the drought. What do we got, Brian? Awesome. Thanks for that. Got it, Jerkbait. It's one of those things where I'm like, well, I have to. Well, yeah,
like, you do. You absolutely have to.
It took me years, right? And I've said this 1,000 times.
Laughs and kayak.
I can't hear you when I'm passing you at 60 in your kayak.
Careful, it's getting a little wavy out here today.
Oh, he's already gone. Yeah, man, jerkbaits are something that like I spent years trying to get comfortable and confident with, and I finally did. And I've got two, 3,700 size planos, literally just full of jerkbaits. One is all my mega bass, and then the other one is all like my custom painteds and my Lucky Crafts and stuff. And this year is like completely undone my confidence in jerkbaits. It sucks, but we'll get back there. All right, one of the last things I want to bring up before we just kind of open things up is actually there's a couple things. And I'll lightly touch upon this. Let me show these here. Pick up that one. We're gonna talk big baits for a hot second, right? And these are big baits. If you are seriously interested in talking big baits, go watch the other live stream we did.
With swim bait scrutiny.
Yep, I think it was just called Spinnerbait Special, something like that. Those guys know their shit.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
And they could elaborate on this 10 times better than I could. But we're still going to talk about it because it's worth mentioning again for people that missed out on that or likely aren't going to go watch it. Glide bait. How many fish have you caught on this?
Me?
Yeah.
2.
How long have you been trying?
2 years.
Same time frame for me. 0 fish.
Actually, no. Was that 3 years ago we got those?
I think it was. Yeah, the S waivers?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
So how many of these have you caught? Or how many of these do you own?
None now.
I own 7. And I've got 0 fish on them.
Actually caught my last one the day after I got my cast on.
That's right. Yep. All right, so hang on. First, before we do that, Brendan Woods, dude, thank you very much for the donation. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Love the shirts. Thanks.
Fishing mode. There you are.
So
Jesus.
fancy in these. Just need more jerk baits. Yeah, Jason. That's what we're talking about with the stupid glides. All right. So the S waiver is undoubtedly a great value glide bait, and there is no question that both the 168 and bigger, they draw out big fish and they catch big fish. Period. If you want to get into it, that's like one of the most cheapest, economical, great ways to do it. Another thing my buddy Jason put me onto is these from Bait Sanity. I've got 3 of them. I got this yellow perch, I got a rainbow, and I've got a red craw pattern specifically for New Hampshire Bounty Factory for when we see them up shallow. Mm-hmm. It's gonna do it. I'm telling you, that's gonna be the first fish I catch. It's gonna be like a good sized smallie on this freaking red craw glide bait up there.
Dude, you're gonna hammer it on that.
Even if you don't catch a fish on it, it literally, I just said it 20 times already, it has big fish drawing power. Have something ready to fire back at it if they don't eat that. I had one that was, I keep bouncing back and forth. It was either 7 or 8 pounds. I, without a shadow of a doubt, was at least 7 pounds, and this was 4 weeks ago now. Follow this bait, this exact bait in the rainbow pattern, right below my feet in 5 feet of water. It was very hard to mistake the size of that thing. He was an inch off the tail of the bait, and he would not commit. But I was ready, and I had a hair jig, and I fired it down, and he didn't want anything to do with it. He pissed right off. So if you want to do something that kind of covers anywhere from, top of the water column down towards the bottom, glide bait is it. This is something that I just bought recently. It's from Toxic Baits out of California. You can only get them through bait drops, so you got to be on, following him on his social media, his website, have it bookmarked, and jump on it, because that's a $140 bait. It's sold out in 2 minutes. Literally everything he had, he sold out in less than 2 minutes.
That's insane.
But I mean, you obviously hear the clack.
It
but can you hear the
sounds so
squeak?
Good underwater.
So the beauty of this
good.
is versatile, and this is, we're talking like this is big bait territory, but it still catches fish of all sizes and early in the year. The beauty of this that I like about this better than like my bullshad bull wake is that you can do one of 2 things. You can either wake it, or you can actually, this will crank down 6 feet. So this is kind of best of both worlds. And when you wake it, it is so insanely slow, but it looks good, and it still gets a little bit of a clack to it. And then kind of along that same lines, this is from DEFCON out of Massachusetts. This is a shallow crank down. This I've caught a lot of fish on, and a lot of big fish on too. But this is like, think of this like a giant square bill. That's literally what it does, but it only goes down 1 to 2 feet. You can go about as deep as 3 feet, but at that point you're kind of working it really hard, and the swim on it becomes a little funky. But like if you're just like moderately rolling it, it's got a real good swim to it. That's Spro tail that he modifies to fit on his. Yeah, you can kind of see it back there where he like trims it.
Oh yeah.
It looks good. At least I don't know if he does that for his new baits now, but that's what he did for these older ones. This is like, if you're in them and they're eating, like I already caught 2. They're only a little over 2 pounds on this a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. It's a 7-inch swim bait. They don't care. They will eat this. I've caught perch on this. If it's the right swim and it's the right depth, dude, they're gonna be all over it. Told Chaz to bring his rod to PA while we're doing the dang thing. I'm throwing his ass in the water by the track. Talon, total proof that lures catch fishermen, not fish. Yeah, no, big time.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Phil, sorry guys, message me after. I got a story for you. All right, I want to hear it.
Me too, actually.
Comes off wish. Dude, if you said that in the swim bait community, they'd murder you.
Oh yeah. You get death threats.
Yep. Skirk. Thank you very much for the donation. Man, greatly appreciate it. Seriously, thank you.
It's actually probably S. Kirk, but...
Nope, he's Skirk.
Okay, Skirk now.
Ever fished Lake Sunapee? Have you fished that?
No.
I have, twice.
I have not. I want to. I actually got some pretty good spots from somebody who lives over there.
Ooh. I wouldn't mind going back, but I've heard too many horror stories about it not really being worth it, but at the same time, like if you can get into them, there's still good quality in there. Smallmouth and largemouth.
Freaking giant out there last year.
Well, yeah, I know one of the guys that we fished the river with on occasion. I think it was him, or was it the other Justin? Damn, now I can't remember. 5.2 pound smallmouth there last year. Yep. Was it there? No, I take that back. There was somewhere else.
No, there was, but like something big caught out of there.
Well, so
I don't know what it was, but
the only 2 times
but it was big.
I fished that lake was, when was my son born? 2012. So 2011, 10 years ago, in May for a tournament. I went out on a Friday. I took the day off from work. I pre-fished. We fished the tournament Saturday. Got our teeth kicked in. Watched my buddy not get bit by an absolute tank of a smallmouth. Friggin' topwater, like 10 feet from the boat. All of a sudden he's like, and I look over, it's just this blimp sitting behind it. His topwater's here, and it's just like, nah.
Who's that?
Josh.
Oh.
We had already had a limit in the boat too. So like, if we had caught that fish, it probably would have put us in the money because we were only, I say we got our teeth kicked in. It really wasn't that bad. We caught, I think we caught like 40 smallmouth that day.
Oh, jeez.
But the biggest we had was 2.5 pounds.
Oh, God.
And almost every single one was on topwater. So it was fun.
It's weird.
But it was annoying because, like, we just didn't know enough. At the time, we were so close to, like, kind of figuring it out, but we just didn't know. If we'd changed up the color or the size of what we were throwing, we probably would have caught that bigger fish. But we were just one good call away from getting in the money. That's how she goes. 169. Nice. Thanks, fishing mode.
Thanks, dude.
Wouldn't be the first community I made mad at me for speaking up. That's true. Danny, if you fish over 5 colors of baits, you're just buying the colors for you, not the fish. I disagree with that for smallmouth. When it comes to smallmouth, I've said it time and time again, color absolutely matters.
Color does matter for smallies.
For largemouth, yeah. Green pumpkin, black and blue. It's really all you need for largemouth.
Maybe some red.
Maybe some red. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking, smallmouth, I've got pretty much the whole variety of colors I have are because of smallmouth. There are plenty of days where I've gone out and I've had to go through like 10 different colors before I found the color that they wanted. It's crazy how fickle they can get. And then 2 hours later, you gotta change the freaking color again. These fish are bastards at times, man, I tell you. Jasper said, live very close, and the perception I have of Sunapee is a lot of drunk boaters and rock bass.
Just like Winnie.
Exactly.
So there's no big difference there.
Yeah, exactly, Brian. Spot on. Could not have said that any better than myself. How many bites are you leaving out if you can match your bait a little better to the hatch? And that's kind of like finesse fishing.
Well, you're not.
Right.
You're covering bluegill, crappie. What else is there?
Yellow perch, white perch, trout, smelt, crawfish, depending on different times of the year, what the crawfish are molting to.
Everything.
Yellow perch.
I'm gonna start fly fishing for smallies.
Pumpkin seed. Golden shiners.
You're still going?
There's too many.
I was just thinking about fly fishing for smallies.
35-pound lake trout at Sunapee? I did not hear about that. That's almost the record again. Wasn't the record 39 pounds?
38.
That's insane. Yeah, so Sunapee has always had a really bad problem with rock bass. There was like the original rock bass infested lake, and oh man, somewhere like 20 years ago, it got bad, and it really took a toll on the lake. And every year, actually, they have at least one big tournament where they have people go out. Well, I say big, I'm not sure how many people show up, but they try to make a big thing of it. Well, they have people go out, and that's the whole point. You know, catch as many rock bass as you can, throw them in a bucket, call it a day. They're doing everything they can to try and, you know, return balance to it, but it needs more than that. It needs like not just a fisherman approach to it. I think it needs a much more scientific approach to it too, and actually getting Fish and Game to get off their asses and stop. Oh, you know, it's gonna all come out in balance in the end. That's what they just recently said that late last year about Winnipesaukee.
They're just going to get destroyed.
If that were true, then Sunapee would have fixed itself by now. But hello, Sunapee's been dog shit for the last 20 years.
New Hampshire, get your shit together.
Right. They just don't want to do anything about it. I shouldn't speak ill about them, but I'm going to because I vehemently disagree with
I
their
will,
notion.
because half the shit they do is freaking retarded.
Yep. I get it. They got limited funds, but man, dude, if they really want to do it, maybe that's all it takes. Maybe it's going to take anglers like us. Or somebody. You know what? Screw it. I'm tired of this shit. I'll organize something where I can get a ton of people involved. And, you know, people just donating resources and time and boats. And, you know, we'll even pay for gas in the Fish and Game boats, you know, when they do electroshock stuff. Dude, just have them come by, shock the crap out of the lake, and come by with nets and scoop up every freaking rock bass you see. There cannot be a more efficient way to get those things out of the lake. You know, and just go out there. And it has to be like a 2-day event where like that's literally all you're doing, and sun up to sun down. Get as many of them as you can out in one shot.
Every Saturday for the next year. Let's do it.
And then do it again a month later. And do it again a month later for that. Like you got to do it, I think, 6 or 7 times in one season to make any sort of progress on it. But then you have to keep doing it. You have to do it 5 or 6 times a year.
It's
for
not
like
just
5
one and
years.
done, and that's what these state people think that's all it takes. It's not just one and done.
No, and you just got to keep going.
They bounce back twice as hard next year.
Yep. So that's my opinion on the matter. Whoa. I'm trying to get. Wow, there's a lot of talking here that we missed. Smallies are more picky. Absolutely. Purple. I don't even want to read that out loud. Definitely more than 10 colors. Match the hatch and legit forget it out. Yep. Any big lakes people vacation on, you will have that issue. Yeah. We got rock bass bad in Connecticut too, contemplating a fish fry soon. Dude, I've heard rock bass are actually quite tasty.
I heard they're pretty good too.
Yeah. So,
I'm actually talking to the guy right here that almost caught the New Hampshire state record. Rock bass.
I don't even want to talk about it. It was in the lake we didn't want to see it in.
No, absolutely not. It was the first one we ever saw in there too.
Mm-hmm. Although it's funny, because after I posted about it, you know, a lot of guys that know us and they know where we fish, but they're good about not saying
right.
it. I had like a dozen different people say, yeah, I caught him there this year too, or last year.
Ugh.
That sucks. It's really gonna suck. Yeah, fishing mode. I absolutely agree with you on the tournaments. Kill them, get them out. Native areas that have pike and other big predators to eat them. New Hampshire doesn't have that. Yeah, exactly.
If we can get pike, that'd be sweet. Bass would get bigger.
Right? Oh, Mike, it's funny. Where the hell were we? We're in the river. Oh, we're up by that castle. What was it? Hubbard Castle on the St. Lawrence River?
I don't remember. It was a castle.
I think it was downstream of it. And we were working that one kind of like crazy, it wasn't even that tall, it was only like 20 or 30 feet tall. Mm-hmm. But we were like, it was a literal cliff face of a little island, and we were like 70 feet of water. I pulled up a rock bass from 70 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was nuts. I thought I had a decent smallmouth.
You got something on your face. Yeah, you got it.
Thanks. But yeah, at least they've got pike and big pickerel and everything to keep those in check. But we got nothing here. There's nothing to really combat them here in New Hampshire. It sucks. Yeah, that's true. Joyous Fox. I don't know, man. I've seen, like, I mean, the smallmouths certainly don't seem to give a damn about them, but I haven't really seen any largemouth eat them. I would like to think that they do.
Bolt
it's the
Castle.
right size and the right stuff. Bolt, yeah, thank you. The hell did I call it? Humboldt? That's a beer. When I fish up there, I kill, run, and catch. Yeah, we do too. Either, like, literally smash them or give them the death spin.
Oh, dude. How many spins can you get? I think we were 5 or 6 was our highest. It's hard.
I think one of us got 10 rotations one time. Damn near broke our wrist trying to get it.
I actually did this throwing rock bass. Kill everything I catch. Yeah. Every single one we caught up on Winnie last year, we killed. I at least tried to. If we were fishing deep, we'd throw them up as high as we could. Whack! At least knock them out for a little while. Oh, where the hell do you find a 5.85 smallie on Winnie?
Oh, dude, talk about an outlier of all outliers.
Who knows?
Like, Winnie's been going off for big largemouth, right? Last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I pay attention to all the tournaments and the weigh-ins, and I've also noticed that the smallmouth have been not good the last few years. And I don't care what anybody says, because the weights are there to back it up. Like, you still get the occasional 4 here and there, but even when people win with smallmouth, it's for the most part, not that impressive.
Well, when we did
For
ours,
the
I
weights.
think winning was 15 pounds.
For 8.
Yeah, for 8 fish.
For 8, not for 5. It's just Jason rock bass and baseball bat. That 5.85 smallie, like, I don't even remember the last time I heard somebody catching a 5-pound smallie in a tournament. Never mind one that big. And the crazy thing about that thing was it was long. It wasn't just fat. Dude, I'll have to show you the picture. Remind me when.
The what?
I'll pull it up right now. The 5.85 pound smallmouth that was caught at Winnie.
It's like a candlewood fish.
Yeah, dude, just super long. Thing was a giant.
How big? How long was the one that I caught at 4.5 at candlewood? How long?
Wasn't it like 23 or something like that?
22 or 23 inches.
See, so the perspective on this kind of sucks because he's so far away, but look
Holy shit.
right?
Jesus, dude.
I don't know if I can show that without like completely throwing off the focus on the camera, so give me a second. And I got delay on what I'm watching, but that's a crazy long smallmouth. Hopefully they didn't screw up. Let me know if that screws it up.
It should be fine.
And
Tiago. Wait, Tiago's here?
Tiago, what?
No, I don't think he's here.
No. Oh, yeah, dude, they're up on Erie. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
yeah,
they are?
Tiago is with,
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
dude.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hammering. Absolutely hammering. him.
Handful of 6s, bunch of 5s, like
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards.
Insane.
So, yeah, no, we saw that. Jesus, that's insane.
No, on Erie. My
I
bad.
want to go to Erie in, like, worst way. Worst way.
Yeah. That would be that, or like I still want to go fish Oneida for largies.
Yeah. That would be good.
Let me get some bit by a rock bass before you catch anything. Yeah. He says he lives on Winnie. Oh.
Oops. Who does? Sorry, I need to respond
Sports
to this.
Central lives on Winnie.
Oh, no kidding. Basically, everywhere I fish.
Rock bass everywhere.
Bit by rock, but yeah, well, that's the problem. Like, the last time we went there was admittedly too early, talking to people. And the smallmouth are still kind of up shallow, and I think we caught like 60 rock bass, which was actually a pretty low number.
Are you sure? I think we caught over 100. 150.
Something, dude, I don't even remember. It was a lot. It was way too many.
It was horrible. It sucked. We caught 2. We actually doubled up on smallies. Remember, because I had a chaser and you dropped down and you got them?
Yep. And it was actually a good one, too. I think
Yeah,
that was
like-
about 3 pounds, a
Yeah,
little over
just
3.
about 3 pounds. Yeah.
Yep.
Just over 3, I think. Honestly, white swimbait has been the best producer for me this year. White swimbait this year. Last 5 times I've been on Winnie, I haven't caught 1 rock bass. How? Dude, how?
Well, I know at a certain point, like, I guess it depends on what depth you're going for, but those bastards, well, they kind of, like, go everywhere, though. That's the thing.
They
But for
follow-
the most part, they stay kind of shallower.
Yeah, I'm guessing under 20 feet.
Yeah, because I know when, like, I've been told by several people, once the smallmouth go out deep, then it's, you know, like, you're talking 30 plus feet, then you start to get away from all those rock bass. It's not too bad.
I like your core on spinnerbait. Why not?
Wait. I had lunkered large last weekend. Didn't think I had it. Usually a 7 is caught. Oh, what'd you have, Grat? That's awesome. Congrats.
Oh, really?
Congrats, Grat.
Congrats.
Fishing boat. I'm going to do swim bait night tomorrow night, buddy. I'm going out with Travis Herring. We're
Where
going
you
to your namesake.
Which one? Which one?
The one right down the street from my work. Salty!
I might go.
I say, you want to join us? We'll be out there about 4 o'clock. Come on out. You'll be fine.
I'm at 6. I may have something to do tomorrow night.
Well, just let me know. What are we doing? Last 5 times been on Winnie. Yep, rock bass. White spinnerbait. Dude, white spinnerbait or white swimbait. Sorry, I thought you said spinnerbait. White swimbait. I haven't done that. Not saying it won't work, but. 6.54. Nice, dude. That's awesome. Buddy, you got your tournament Saturday morning.
Yeah, chill out.
Don't worry. We'll get out together. Don't worry. Damn, that's a tank. That would have been the second biggest fish I've ever caught in my life if I caught that. That's a big fish.
Yeah, not mine.
Shut up.
I'm kidding. That'd be your third biggest fish.
For me?
Wouldn't it?
No, for you. No. My biggest is now 7 pounds 5 ounces. My second biggest is 6 pounds 4 ounces. My previous PB.
I got a bunch of swim baits. I just don't have the right rod. Hey, fishing mode. I'm getting a new swim bait rod, right?
Yep.
Okay, so when I get a new swim bait rod, I have a rod, a 7-foot. I don't even know what the hell it is. Lamiglass?
Oh, is that thing you got from Joe?
Yeah. It's sturdy. It's stout. It's 3 to 12 ounces.
It's a broomstick.
It's a broomstick. And if you want that, I'll just have it.
Yep.
It works fine. Thing's mint.
I can't wait to get my swim bait rod. Drop shot rod first, though. John's going to have that done for me before I go to the St. Lawrence. Not St. Lawrence. Champlain. I'm so excited. Sorry. Good color New Hampshire doesn't get bid for. I found the white is not good color in New Hampshire. Yeah, I don't know. I really haven't thrown that much. I've thrown like white-ish hues, but...
For what? I found that white is not a good color in New Hampshire. I throw a white spinnerbait sometimes and it gets good.
White spinnerbait? No, that's a totally different animal.
I got some in the garage. I'll let you pick through. For what? Oh, bait casters. Oh, all right. You left your righty. Or are you talking about rods? Your buddy works at Lamiglass.
Oh, nice.
It's a solid rod. It's actually really light for what it is, too.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised by that.
It's super light.
Yeah.
Which is... I was not expecting it when I picked it up.
Been a fan of hunting pin pickerel white swimbaits, just smoked them. Huh. Interesting.
Pin pickerel. What's pin pickerel?
I'm assuming he's from Mass. So when you get a certain size fish, for like every category, you get a pin for it.
Oh, yeah.
Pinfish. My sales say white is popular. I believe it, Jason. For me personally, I really haven't had that much luck. Again, like whitish hues, like clearish with white hues, like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, white with the clear bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Like high-tex.
Straight white? No, I've never. Then again, I've never really fished it. Oh, I probably should because I've got some white spinnerbaits I really like, and I actually still have some, just like grubs, just some curly tail grubs I throw for my trailers, and they work great. But a swim bait would be a lot better. Yeah, Sports Central, you're right. They do kind of get deep too.
That's not deep.
Oh, okay. So I was right. So you're New Hampshire, but I at least knew what you meant. So we got that. Can we just go there? Decent. Lamiglass still worth more. Salmon Steelhead Company. Oh, interesting. All right. All right. So at this point, it's 9:50. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up that we did not talk about for like
moving baits?
Yeah, like something specific that you really like to do before we call our parting shots here. And at this point, opening up any other questions you guys have, let's hit it. But we're coming up on the 2-hour mark again. It seems like a pretty good point to call it quits here.
I think we pretty much covered everything from what's in front of us.
I think so. I mean, the only thing that we didn't have on the desk. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about. I mean, I had it out. I don't have any hooks on it yet. It's a custom painted one from Dragon Custom Tackle. Lipless crankbaits. Should absolutely be throwing those right now, too. I don't know why you didn't bring that up earlier, but that's something that you can...
I mean, you could throw those all year.
Right, but especially right now for largemouth, like with the emergent vegetation, like you get that thing kind of burning along and you tick the top of vegetation, you snap it out, you're probably going to get crushed. Or you just kind of yo-yo it through stuff. Like lipless crankbait is another thing that you should be able to mess around with a bit. I brought up lightly, flukes. Flukes can be good this time of the year. I know it's not really technically a moving bait, but you work it fast, like an aggressive jerkbait, and it'll work.
Yeah.
Lipless cranks and red should have been on your rod from ice out.
Yep.
We've covered that a lot before.
The last
every episode.
Yeah, the first 10 episodes we've talked about lipless crankbaits.
Yeah.
In red, or anything red.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's why I got into the Chatterbaits, the Firecraw Chatterbaits, and I bought it before the Classic. I'm gonna always keep reminding people that because I don't want people to think I jumped on a hype train. I was ahead of the curve.
No, you definitely did, because I remember you caught that, and the Classic was the next weekend.
Yep. And it was funny because I went down with Derek to Candlewood after the Classic. And I was telling him, I was like, yeah, man. And I told him my whole rationale, like, right, red lipless crankbait always kills it, so why not a red chatterbait? And he's like, I don't know, man. I think it's kind of marketing hype. Donk, 3.5 pounder. He's like, he's just laughing. He's like, okay, I'm wrong. Oh, nice, Joyous Fox. Well, thank you for watching it, man. I greatly appreciate it. How'd you find it? Just curious. Red's best color with it. Yeah, I mean, for this time of the year, it really is hard to beat that red lipless. And not just for largemouth. For, like, gin, clear water, smallmouth, too. It's insane how aggressive those fish get, which is why I bought this 7-inch glide bait in a red firecraw. For conditions where we get up there, if it's going to be dead slick calm and they're super spooky, I still have a feeling that that's going to get them. Yeah, Mike, I bet.
I'm just saying. Such an asshole.
Oh, nice, Brendan. That's awesome, man. That's a big fish.
Man's on a firecraw chatter. Well, they should be coming around pretty soon.
Yeah, dude, you should be. I mean, I know Tackle Warehouse just had them in last week, but they're probably all gone again. Wait, I missed one up top. Red's best killer. Wait, even blade bait too. Yeah, blade bait. Yeah, if you're talking, well, yeah, no blade. I kind of struggle with that in the spring, and I know plenty of guys that do really well with it and they swear by it. But me personally, I've not done that great with a blade bait. At this point, either. Once the water hits like 50 and up,
I just haven't. I've never really had a good blade bait day, ever.
It's because we don't.
I know, but it just.
Well, it's funny because the place we were absolutely murdering them at with those footballs, we should have been doing even better with the blade bait, and they wouldn't touch it. Probably because TJ and his buddy Nick, with the dog, they're going out like every other day with blade baits.
Yeah, I know.
10 hours a day. Come on, you little bastards.
Yeah, eat.
And we're like, something different.
Something different. Yeah, that they absolutely destroyed.
Oh my God. 20-pound bag after 20-pound bag after 20-pound bag.
I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks straight we had 20-pound bags.
It was amazing. One of the best stretches of fishing I've ever had.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Broke my PB 6 times in freaking 3 weeks.
Yeah. Joyce Fox. Don't usually bass fish till May anyway, so I'm not super familiar with the spring techniques. Spring is usually trout and big pickerel. Live stream is great. Super cool to have new extra love. Oh, good. Great, man. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. It's there is a lot of really good bass fishing this early in the year, and more people are catching on to it. I mean, we're certainly, not just us, plenty of other people talk about it. In New England, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Mass, whatever, like early spring, ice out, like pinfish time. It's hard, and it's a grind, and you're going to have as many, if not more, bad days as you do have good days. But when the good days are good, they're not just good.
Really good.
Some of the best days you have.
Yep.
So it's pretty damn good, man.
It is not too early for a frog, by the way. I skipped.
That's okay. Brendan, yeah, dude, fish was sitting in 1 foot. I was joking with my friend and threw the frog in. There we go. That's awesome. Nice, Hammer. Glad to hear it was good.
But, yeah. Damn, I'm jealous of all you guys. You guys get the fish.
You shouldn't have broke your wrist.
Well, technically it was arm.
Yeah, you're right on pickerel for that size, but I still find them annoying.
Yeah.
Rule 1 in my boat. What's rule 1 in my boat?
No pickerel rod.
Thank you. What's rule 2? Pickerel count as -1.
True.
I'm such a jerk.
I was thinking my rules. Always have snacks.
Yeah, that's kind of like, that's a cardinal rule. That supersedes even all the other rules.
Yeah.
That's like
Andrew needs snacks or he'll be mad.
In order to get on the road, we obviously need keys to the truck, and we obviously need food for Andrew. Like, they kind of go hand in hand for like order of importance.
I probably eat. God, if I could have like three square meals, 3 square meals a day for me would probably be around like 8,000 calories.
Yeah, you're a hobbit.
I don't get it. I'll eat 25 to 3,000 calories in a meal and be fine, and I'll eat an hour later.
Andrew, it's only 5 in the morning. You're eating your sandwich. Yes, but I'm hungry. We haven't had breakfast yet. What about second breakfast? Oh, nice. Do the rat. Good. That's more for him than it is for me, but I like it.
No, actually, I'm left-handed.
Woods and Weeds, Fish of St. Catherine. No, that's on the list of places to go to this year. I've heard really good things about the place. We're going. I heard the vegetation is pretty fun to fish there.
Where?
St. Catherine in Vermont.
Oh, yeah.
That's supposed to be a really good spot. Pickerel Tourney Trail. I can give you a couple spots where you would absolutely slay them, and like literally please slay them when you're done.
Yeah.
They're like the rock bass of like problem-wise of this one spot in particular.
I bet if we go in there and get rid of them, the bass would be giant. I mean, they're already big. But.
Yeah, but imagine, you just remove like the only other aggressive feeder in there.
Oh, man. Imagine that.
That'd be great.
Whew.
Get a bronze trash can for the trophy. Yes. That'd be great. I was here like 1 hour ago, and one of you said you'll probably catch a good one too, and just left to cut a 5-2. Hell yeah, Miles! It's
nice.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Tell me where it all is. I'll fish them out for you. I'll tell you. I'm no joke. I'll tell you. Message me. I don't care where you message me. Just make sure you tell me that it's you, Joyous Fox. Wherever you message me, I'll tell you where it is.
What? Oh, yeah.
Where to go catch pickerel?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can elaborate on the pickerel there. You don't need to hear it just from me.
No, they're big.
And
they're big.
And there's 1,000 of them.
Yeah, I think. Didn't Kyle catch a giant one out there last year? Like 6 pounds? 5 or 6 pounds or something like that?
Big pickerel in this place.
I think it was him. Pretty sure it was him.
Remember that tournament we won there a couple years ago? We had 4 for like 12.5 pounds.
Yeah.
And we were just like, we had a pretty good day, but we were like really kind of swinging for the fences with swim baits late in the day. And we kept getting smoked. And every time we're like, oh, there it is. There's a big fish. Nope, just like a 3-pound pickerel. After 3-pound pickerel. After 3-pound pickerel.
Yeah.
This place is insane. Yeah, I know they're native. So I know.
Yeah, get out of this chat. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I know they're native. But listen, I'm not saying kill them all or eradicate them. Just this one pond in particular is really imbalanced. So we need to restore balance. Big Larry's deep. Lake Georgia. Oh yeah, Lake George.
Oh, I've been trying to fish there forever.
That's not that bad. That's pushing it for a day trip. But we could go there and absolutely do an overnighter. Like leave late Saturday night, find a place to stay. Like literally just to roll up.
After I get out of work on Saturday.
Right, because it's only with stops we'll probably be there in 5 hours. That's not bad at all.
No, it's not that bad.
Have all your stuff packed ahead of time. So it's literally just get out.
Pick me up from work and we'll go.
Right. And we could be there before dark. And that's with generous stops.
Yeah.
I didn't know it would take 5 hours. I think it's only 4 hours.
No,
of stops.
it's not that far. It's only.
It's not that far past Champlain.
I got there in 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I believe it. So with stops, it'd probably be like 4 to 4.5 hours. Towing the boat, going that way. Because I got to the very southern end of Champlain. Wow, excuse me.
Careful.
That hurt. The very southern end of Champlain in like 3.5 hours. And from there to Lake George, like that boat launch you found, that's not that far.
No, it's not.
That's a big lake. It'd be fun,
It's a huge lake.
Oh, I know that lake. Fishing mode. 31 inches. Idiot child. Oh, that sucks. That is a giant. The biggest pike I've ever caught was 32.5 inches, which coincidentally enough was the very first one.
I don't even know how big mine was. I don't think we measured it.
Jasper, you gonna be fishing at Lake George all summer? Do you have a guest house? We'll come. I'll pay for my own food. All right.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
All right. It's 10 o'clock. We're both tired. I have to be up and be on the road before 6 a.m. tomorrow. So it's time to call it quits. Thank you all greatly for watching. More than anything, thank you for those wanting to like the stream. That's helping huge. Don't underestimate the power of how much it helps the channel just by simply leaving a like on the stream. Hugely helpful. People that were commenting, people that donated, like that's the next best thing. Like seriously, thank you guys so much. I know, so at this point, $770. So we gained another $60 tonight, which was awesome. Thank you. Actually, that math doesn't check out. We gained more than that. I forget. I think I missed a couple to write down. We definitely did. 65, because that's not accurate. But I don't know. Whatever. It was a great night anyway, so it worked out. Thank you all very much. Greatly appreciate it. We'll catch you guys maybe. Keep an eye out on my social media. If I have service, I will live stream dockside from Lake Champlain on Thursday.
Y'all sexy as fuck. I can't lie.
Thanks,
bro.
With my dad bod. Anyway, so next Thursday, I think I'll be able to live stream from the shore. I don't see why not. I think they have Wi-Fi. So I'll do it from the deck, kind of like we did at Lake Ontario last year.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was.
That was like the first live streams we did.
Yep.
It was live stream before live stream.
Yeah, and that was a ton of fun. I've got all my same stuff set up, so I can just set it up right on the dock. It'll be with Dennis. If you guys missed the Jigs and Jerkbaits episode, that's my buddy Dennis. So we're going up with him, and then my friend Kristen, who we're supposed to have on the stream at some point relatively soon, so we can have a lady angler perspective. She'll be up there with us as well. As long as she's comfortable with it and everybody's cool with it, then we'll have her on the stream as well. We'll do a little freeway on the stream.
Whoa.
Yep, out. Said it. And freezing. What?
She would not be happy. Becca would kick your ass.
Yes, she would. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to report nightly from Lake Champlain all next weekend. I leave Thursday morning, the 13th, so the day of what is normally the stream, and I'm not coming home till Sunday night. So I'm kind of hoping at least Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'll do lakeside streams if I can. Again, keep in mind, or just keep following the social media. I'll post about it everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. And hopefully see you guys at the streams then. Otherwise,
and if you're not following us on Instagram,
follow.
Do it.
Follow. All down there in the video description. The links for everything. Follow us.
Get some.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Oh, my knees.
I usually try to close it out, but I really have to pee bad. So, see you next